Todd Helton set to go, batting .323. That's the fourth best batting average in the National League. He'll be going up against Jeff Suppan, who is 3-0 lifetime at Coors Field. Troy Tulowitzki having another outstanding homestand, batting .367 with a home run. Jason Hamill on the hill tonight for the Rockies, looking for his 10th win of the season. If he can pull it off, that'll give the Rockies 5 starters with double-digit wins. That hasn't happened in the National League since 2005. Welcome into Coors Field. Rockies trying to get one step closer to a postseason berth. Right now, I'm going to turn things over to Drew Goodman and George Frazier because we're ready for Rockies baseball.
Win it in 11, 7-5. What a thrill that was less than 24 hours ago. And coupled with the Atlanta Braves loss, the Rockies begin the day with a magic number of 3. Tonight, game 2 of this 3-game set between Colorado and Milwaukee. The Rockies now 21 games above 500. Let's take a look at the standings. By the way, the Dodgers have been stumbling. The Rockies just 3.5 back there, but they're 3 up on Atlanta, and the Braves right now are losing 5-0 to Florida in the 5th inning. So you know the math. If the Rockies win, Florida holds on. The magic number becomes 1. The possibility of a celebration here tomorrow afternoon becomes that much more feasible. Good evening, everybody. I'm Drew Goodman. Last night was big fun, but think about it. The whole month of September has been big fun. The Rockies have 17 wins in the month of September. When you play every day in the game of baseball and you are fortunate enough and good enough to be in it, September really becomes October because every night feels like a playoff game. You hang on every pitch, every swing of the bat. Let me bring in George Frazier. That's what occurred last night when Chris Iannetta came up. A different hero every night. We have visited that theme before, but it occurred again.
Well, it occurred again last night, and it's been a common theme since August 24th. You look back at when all this really started. Spielberg, the Grand Slam, Tulowitzki, Seth Smith, Torrey Alba, Chris Iannetta. You see a lot of different names all the way through this. It has been a total team effort in these late inning wins by the Rockies on the walk-offs, and it's interesting that the Rockies now 14-3 in their last at-bats at Coors Field. That could be the 8th inning, obviously, and including the walk-offs here. This is a club that just doesn't give up. It's a club that feels like they can win any ball game at any time and come back in big ways. They've learned when they get down 6-0, let's chip away and take that one shot when they get it.
Yeah, wonderful thing about baseball, we've talked about it before, it's not played with a clock. You know, a 2-minute drive in football, you know, hey, it's either going to work out or it's not going to work out. Baseball, you never know when it may occur. Chris Iannetta off the bench, a 2-run walk-off last night. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the pitching matchup this evening. He's getting ready to go against the Milwaukee Brewers. Back with George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. Jeff Suppan will go for Milwaukee. He's a 34-year-old veteran. He has been around a long time. And the Rockies will counter with Jason Hamill, who's really throwing the ball exceptionally well over the last 8-10 starts.
Well, you look at the walk strikeouts and you start to figure things out. This is one thing he does do. He doesn't get beat. The other thing that Jason Hamill does very well, in my eyes, he leads all of the starters with the Rockies and leadoff batters retired 72% of the time, prevents big innings, works out of situations that you don't have to mess with. And then on the starters' wins, look at this, folks. This is amazing. 66 wins, an earned run average of 411 over this time. They've only allowed 86 home runs, second fewest in team history. The other closest amount of wins by this ball club was in 07, 55 wins. And another team that you'll talk about later on in this broadcast, you thought they had the best starting pitching in the National League, the San Francisco Giants. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is to emphasize exactly what the Rockies have done with 66 wins. Their staff just 61 wins.
Yeah, without question, this is the finest staff that has ever towed the rubber for the Colorado Rockies. And Jason Hamill, a big part of that. He has the rock tonight. We're going to hear plenty from the players this evening on our Wednesday night Mic'd Up feature. Colorado, Milwaukee, come on back with us. There is 59-year-old Ken Maka. He turned 59 yesterday. And he has a civil engineering degree from Pitt, something you probably did not know about Ken Maka. Here's his lineup tonight. Felipe Lopez will be up top. Jody Garrett will be in right field. Corey Hart may have broken a couple of fingers on his hand last night. Ryan Braun, Prince Fielder. You got to be careful with those guys. Casey McGee, Mike Cameron, Alcides Escobar, maybe their shortstop of the future. Jason Kendall had the 3-run home run to tie it in the 9th last night. He'll be catching and batting 8th in front of Suppan. First pitch of the ball game to Lopez, missed, ball 1. 70 degrees our game time temperature, and that pitch is at the knees for a strike. One of the things you really have to like about Hamill is he works quickly and he's a big time strike thrower. 2-1.
Tried to visit that outside corner again. If you remember last night, Lopez got a first pitch up at the start of the ball game, got a ball up out over the plate, lined that single to left field.
And ground ball to second. Easy play for Barnes. Lopez is retired. Let's take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on the former member of the Rays.
Well, you look at Hamill and you look at the fastball, 90-95. He will four seam a lot, but he does sink the ball as he did there to Lopez, 80-86. Quick hard break on his slider. The curveball 12-6 right over the top. His record 9-8, 430 earned run average. Another impressive thing with Hamill, when he does get men in scoring position, he has seemed to turn the corner and makes the pitch. 243 the opposition's average against Mr. Hamill.
A strike on Jody Garrett, former member of the Rockies organization, then on to Cleveland and San Diego. Traded from San Diego this summer for Tony Gwynn Jr. There's that good breaking ball. 0-2 quickly on Garrett. So Garrett's playing for Hart this evening. It was a big deal earlier in the year. The splits home and away for Jason Hamill, among the best ERAs on the road in the National League the first half of the year. And his home ERA was awful. Well, his last 6 starts at Coors Field, he has a 3.58 ERA.
He's pitched much better here, and the reason behind that is he's really minimized his walks at Coors Field and started to stay away from the big innings. And that had been a problem for him earlier in the season. It hasn't been of late.
Running fastball strikes out Jody Garrett. 2 outs, and Ryan Braun will come up. Let's go to Turner Field in Atlanta. Ross Glode, briefly a Rocky. It's 3-0 already, Florida. And Glode leans on one and hits it out to right center field, make it 5-0 FLA. And they're now in the 6th inning with the Marlins shutting out the Braves.
The right guy on the mound too. Ricky Nolasco's pitched very well of late. Been the right-hander double-digit winner a year ago. Everybody felt like when Johnson wouldn't be able to pitch, and he ended up pitching that first ball game, and maybe Atlanta had set things up pretty nicely for themselves as far as making a run at this wild card.
Well, Nolasco, I was looking at the numbers earlier, George. Nolasco's been tough on the Braves this year, and obviously he's tough again tonight. 1-0 on Ryan Braun. He had a couple of doubles last night. Ken Maka said before the ball game it was somewhat humorous, but Maka was being somewhat serious. He said, you know, I wish Braun had singled twice instead of doubling twice, because that took Prince Fielder out of the game.
Every time it did. The Rockies played the hands early. They walked intentionally to Prince Fielder with runners at second and third. Double play balls resulted both times.
At the knees, 2-1. Ryan Braun has 194 hits this year. 6 shy of being the 4th player in Brewer history to reach the 200 hit mark. See, only Hanley Ramirez has more. That's fouled off. Let's take a look at the Rockies' gloves tonight behind Hamill. In the outfield, it's Smith, Gonzalez back in the lineup in center field. Brad Hobson right. Stewart, Tulowitzki on the left side of the diamond. Clint Barnes, Todd Helton right side. Torey Alba is doing the catching. And don't think that score has somehow eluded the Rockies players. They are very much aware that Florida right now is up 5-0. Swung on and missed. Great start for Hamill. A 1-2-3 first, including a couple of strikeouts. He got Garrett and he got Braun with the hammer. Great inning for Jason Hamill in the top of the first. In the bottom of the first, Jim Tracy will see his offense hopefully get off to a quick start against Jeff Suppan. He'll have Carlos Gonzalez up top, Seth Smith in the 2-hole. Todd Helton, 3 straight multi-hit games for Helton. He's got the average at 323. Troy Tulowitzki had 3 knocks yesterday. Brad Hopp, Yorvi Torrealba, Ian Stewart, Clint Varmus, and then the pitcher Hamill. Take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on the 34-year-old.
Well, the guy's been around a long time. 135 wins, 134 losses, 88-93. He'll sink and cut it. Big break on this curveball, slider, and change. He'll use the circle against left-handers. He has struggled since the All-Star break. 2 and 5. The opposition is at 323. Third run average of 567. Now against the Rockies, he's had very good success. 6 and 1 overall, 3 and 0 here at Coors Field.
That's what really gets your attention. And his numbers against some of the big hitters in the Rockies lineup are very good.
Well, I think the reason behind that, he's not particularly an overpowering guy at times. I mean, it's 88-90. He lives off location, but he has the ability to throw his curveball and changeup when behind in the count. So you get a lot of those big bats that love facing good fastballs. All of a sudden he off-speeds him, and then has that ability to do it.
That's smoked into right center field. Gonzalez around first, headed to second base. Ball gets a bye. He has a chance for 3. And Gonzalez, don't hurt the hammy, is in safely with a triple. And you can see how gingerly he went into third base. He was ready to stop at second. He is really being careful with that hamstring. He knows it won't be 100% again until sometime in December.
This ball is a ground ball. This is how hard this ball is hit. A ground ball all the way to the wall in right center field when it got by the infield and the second baseman Lopez. It's a race between the outfielders to get there. Then it's a race of Gonzalez to third base. Last night the Rockies had a leadoff double by Fowler. Little baseball scored the run. We got 2 shots to get it here.
Seth Smith at the plate, and he takes strike 1. Well, how good has Cargo been? How has he arrived in a Rockies uniform? Compare his numbers this year to last year in his first taste with Oakland of the big leagues. The homers tripled, the average 41 points better. George, 20 more runs at fewer at bats. Stolen bases 16-4. I mean, he's, as we've talked about, all of the tools, they're there every night.
Well, now what you like and what you see is the fact that when he plays the game now, he's not playing tentatively. And that's one thing that I got out of the Oakland brass, was when he came to the big leagues, he thought the game would be easy. And then all of a sudden he started to get a little bit intimidated by the game. Guys making certain pitches on him. Now he's just out playing the ball game.
That bounces away, and Gonzalez will not advance. 2 and 1. And when Carlos Gonzalez starts, you want to see impressive? They are 51 and 16. I mean, that's ridiculous. 51 and 16.
Well, 17 and 5 when he gets a hit in the ball game. There's leadoff singles. A record of 17 and 5. Not a bad number for him either.
They're 18 and 6 with him batting in the leadoff spot. A lot of glowing numbers around Carlos Gonzalez, who's just getting started. 3 and 1 on Seth Smith. Todd Helton waits on deck. Three and 2 on an 89-mile-an-hour fastball. With a win tonight, the Rockies could produce their 90th victory of the year, which would match their all-time franchise best set 2 years ago when they knocked off San Diego in the play-in game for their 90th win. That counts as a regular season victory. And Smith wasn't sure, George, so he fired to hands, fouled off a close pitch. And we'll do that 3-2 thing again. the base hit to bring Gonzalez home. 1-0 Colorado. As you described, a ground ball triple that was just smoked, and that was smoked up the middle for a base hit for Smith.
And I guarantee you, as much as the Rockies look at the scoreboard 5-0, Atlanta's looking at this scoreboard and realizing the Rockies have already jumped out on top on Suppan in just 2 at-bats. Already 1-0 Rockies. It's just trying to stay in a big part of the ballpark and take it back up the middle, making him pay for the mistakes. And Cargo comes in to score the first run.
That's great to see from Smith, who was 0 for his previous 9, just 3 for 16 on the homestand. Prior to that, the swing of the bat. 1-0 on Helt. Todd is 7 for 13 over the last 3 ball games. 12 for 26, a .462 average on the homestand. And here's something interesting now. A few days back, Todd was actually hitting .226 10 days ago in the month of September. Well, with his recent hot streak, he's raised his average in the month of September to .304. So now he has hit above 300 in every month of the season. That's a strike. And this is, last time I checked, the final day of September. How steady is that?
Well, those 2 big, huge months, July and August, when the team really started to put some separation away. 10 RBIs. The big RBI month came in June with 20. Sitting on 14 right now.
One, two. There's a swing Todd took yesterday to serve the ball to left field. I said it looked like a sliced backhand volley. So that was what I was trying to do with a grin. That base hit in the first inning to drive in a run.
Yeah, a lot of guys have the same swing pattern over and over and over again, and if you throw it into that swing pattern, they're going to hit it. Helton doesn't have a consistent swing pattern. It's great, the ability to change his direction of the bat with the recognition of his hand-eye coordination. You've got to be one of the best in the game.
This ball is ripped to right. Garrett's going to make the catch on the high drive. Smith returns to first.
Well, one thing you'd probably hear about right now out of the dugout somewhere, well, you got him popping up, son.
Exactly. 3-line drives against Jeff Suppan to begin things. Braun, Cameron, Garrett in the outfield. Infield of McGee and Escobar on the left side. Felipe Lopez, Prince Fielder on the right. And Jason Kendall is doing the catching. Troy Tulowitzki will step up. This is now his 46th game batting cleanup, and it is agreed with a .337 average, 10 home runs, 36 RBIs in the cleanup spot in 46 games. You do the math on that, it's basically a quarter of the season. So you multiply by 4 and you have, 120 plus RBIs and close to 40 home runs. That's good stuff.
It all kind of coincided. I started to think about, talking about moving him to the 4-hole. Tracy had looked for somebody to take over that role to split up Helton and Hopp, because then it makes it a lot easier, obviously, for a manager to bring in left on left late in the ball game, 7th, 8th inning, in scoring situations. Tulowitzki has really taken to the position.
That's a strike. Well, the original plan had Garrett Atkins, you're going way back to March. It's the end of spring training. You figure Garrett Atkins is going to be your cleanup guy. I mean, he's led the team in RBIs 3 of the last 4 years. It's just one of those seasons that most players have one where it just does not go well. And for Garrett, this year's been an aberration. A big run producer throughout his career. He's had a tough season. Outside, 2-1. It just works to the Rockies' advantage. I was talking to Ken Maka about this around the batting cage this afternoon, George, is that now, Torrealba's gotten high. He's taken over the #1 duty. Stewart plays every day at third base. But late in the ball game, you bring a guy like Chris Iannetta, he's saying off the bench with 15 home runs, or Garrett Atkins, or Jason Giambi.
Yeah, the big power coming from Giambi and then also from Iannetta. I mean, those are the two guys that are going to leave. And, of course, Garrett Atkins has that ability. He just hasn't done it this year.
But it's still, as you know, George, from the opponent's perspective, the manager's sitting there going, this isn't some guy they just brought up from AAA. This is a guy you got to respect.
That's why it's so important that when you get into the playoffs, you make sure you take guys that are going to match up well against the opposition, not only starting rotation, but against their bullpen that you think has had success against guys.
Outside, 3-2. This was another area that Maka, and I'll talk a lot about Ken's thoughts on the Rockies tonight, because he was very forthcoming with his opinion on the Rockies. Very flattering of the Colorado Rockies in those opinions, but he said the Rockies really work counts.
Well, that's to me, that was the mainstay when Don Baylor was here. When I first came in '98, that was one thing that Don Baylor really pushed on his hitters.
Runner going, it bounces past Kendall. Smith is going to try to get the third. The throw is bad by Kendall, who, George, really had enough time perhaps to throw out Smith, and he threw it 15 feet short of McGee.
Well, that's the thing about it. When the ball broke away from him and hit off the wall, I don't think he anticipated Smith going to third base. So the hustle back to the ball, not typical of a Jason Kendall. Watch how he goes back. See right here, now he's just kind of jogging after it. And once he looks up to see that there actually could be a play at third, everything way too late then. Take advantage of other teams' miscues, whether it is with the glove, the hand, or the mental side of the game.
So Brad Hopp trying to turn things around against Jeff Suppan in his career. He's just 2 for 22 against Suppan. And this one is going to turn into a double play. Thought he had a hit off the bat, but Lopez was playing up the middle. 4-6-3 on the turn. Smith drives in the Rockies' first run. 1-0 as we go to the second. In the first, we go to the top of the second inning. Prince Fielder to lead it off as we take a look at our Burt Automotive keys to victory tonight.
Well, you're keeping the emotions in check, realizing that you're knocking on that door to clinch, and then kind of just set your sights on next Wednesday. And of course, the whole team. You look inside of that Iannetta, and you see Giambi standing there. Aaron Cook's going to make the start tomorrow. Ian Stewart with the defense, and then tonight's starting pitcher Jason Hamill. I think that's the key to really to this entire game is Jason Hamill and what he does on the mound.
Pitch a little bit low to Prince Fielder. Started every ball game this year at first base for the Brewers. Said it last night, worth repeating. The only player in the big leagues to start every game. 2-0. Tied for the Major League RBI lead with Ryan Howard at 137. The last Brewer to lead the big leagues in RBIs, Cecil Cooper. He tied Jim Rice back in '83 with 126. That's when Milwaukee was playing in the other league. Rockies have that shift on, and this ball's hit a ton to center field. Home run number 44 for Prince Fielder. And now he has the outright lead in RBIs at 138 as he ties up the game. He can do that.
And it doesn't have to be the right field every time. This big man has so much power. Just times pitches. You see that ball away from him, and then it's because it's up in the strike zone, allows the bat to get under the baseball and then to fly to the baseball into dead center field into a pretty strong wind at Coors Field. This ball ends up about 8 or 9 feet in that left field corner.
Casey McGee at the plate, and he gets moved back 1-0.
Well, a lot of people look at him. His name is being mentioned for National League Rookie of the Year. Tommy Hanson, of course, on the pitching side of it. J.A. Happ, Randy Wells. And these are some guys that you could look at. And on the offensive side, I think obviously you need to connect in with McGee. He's one of those guys. Dexter Fowler, another here in the Rockies uniform.
There's been a lot of guys that have come on in the second half of the year. I'll give you one, George. Chris Coghlan with Florida. Hit .319, 9 home runs, 44 RBIs. He can swing the bat. And this is a line drive base hit for McGee. That's what makes this Brewer team scary. Mike Cameron will step up. He bounced into a couple of double plays last night. There are several notable free agents on the Milwaukee Brewers team. Prominent guys that they're going to have to make decisions on. Doug Melvin, their general manager. And one of them is at the plate, Mike Cameron. Jason Kendall, another. Felipe Lopez is a free agent. One and one on Cameron. Catch it today, George. Eric Wedge, former Rocky, fired as Indians manager. It's a good baseball man.
Well, there was an article the other day on MLB.com that I read about, and it was unfortunate just because of his friendship and what he had accomplished 2 years ago, manager of the year in the American League. And then now all of a sudden you're out of baseball. It's not out of it, but you've been fired as a manager of the Cleveland Indians. Another job that will be looked to be filled there in Washington, Cleveland, and Houston so far.
Eric Wedge will get another job. Eric Wedge did a tremendous job in Cleveland. He's well thought of. Here's the 2-1. There's a strike, 2-2. Eric Wedge is going to finish the season as the manager of the Indians. Windshield damage, call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or visit safelight.com. In fact, I was driving around today. I said this a couple weeks ago. Saw a Safelite van repairing a windshield in somebody's driveway. They'll come out wherever you are.
Door to door.
Yeah. He went. And Cameron is out #1 in the second inning. Third strikeout for Jason Hamill.
Anytime he has the ability to throw this pitch, that hard breaking ball out, starts about belt high, it gives you that appearance so much that it is a hard fastball because of his velocity and arm action. And look at that tight rotation on the Hyundai cam. You really pick it up. Totally cool camera.
Alcides Escobar. This kid may make J.J. Hardy, George, expendable in the offseason.
Got a lot of range. Really good arm. Hit 301. 31 hits. 3 or 4 extra base hits. I think one thing he probably is going to battle more than anything else is the ability to hit the breaking ball consistently. Nothing new for a young kid.
I was going to say, isn't that something they always just wonder about with the young player?
Well, you find out pretty quick, I can tell you that.
He had 298 in Nashville this year in 109 games. Also stole 42 bases. And he's behind 0-2. Here's an interesting note about the Brewers. They have played in 4 different divisions. They played in the American League West when they were the Pilots in '69, and then 70 and 71 in Milwaukee. They played in the AL East from 72 to 93. They played in the AL Central 94 to 96, and then of course they were flipped to the National League in the National League Central. Swung on and missed, and Escobar is gone. 2 outs.
Well, let's take another look at this hard slider this time. Just totally fooled by the pitch as it comes out of the hand. I mean, again, because of velocity, a lot of times guys commit, and that youngster's going to have to figure out. He's hitting over 300. He's got to figure out how to lay off the breaking ball and read the pitch out of the hand, or he's going to have a lot of left turns to a dugout.
Jason Kendall, who got everybody on the Milwaukee side off their hands and out of their chairs last night when he hit it out. And I asked him, I said, did you think you hit it out? Because I can't hit him out anymore. He said, so when I hit him, I just run really fast, or as fast as I can. He said, honestly, I knew I hit it good. He said, I was worried about it turning foul.
And it did barely get out of the ballpark, right down the left field line, right down to Mark Razum's storage area on a slider at 85 miles an hour up into the zone. And it was up and out over that left field wall.
He hit this one a ton to left. This has got a chance to get out off the middle of the wall, and they'll green light McGee, who's starting to slow up, and he'll score. 2-1 Milwaukee. A power surge from Jason Kendall, an unlikely source.
Let's watch again. Where is this pitch? Fastball. It's down on the inner half of the plate. He's a good low ball hitter since he went to a little bit more of a crouch type stance at home plate. And because of the top spin, this ball stayed in the ballpark. Otherwise, it's probably going to get out of the yard too. McGee is around third base, chugging his way to the house to put them on top 2-1.
Strike on Suppan. 18 doubles for Jason Kendall. Kendall, like so many players, have always enjoyed hitting at Coors Field. He's got a .386 career average at Coors Field. Middle of 7. It remains 5-0 Florida at Turner Field in Atlanta. Got to get the out at first. Torrealba flips to help in the inning. Prince Fielder hit a home run. McGee singled. Kendall brought him around. 2-1 Milwaukee. Well, Milwaukee counters the Rockies' good start with a couple in the second, so they have a 2-1 lead. Let's check in with Alana Rizzo with tonight's Mike Shaw Auto Update. Alana, what's cooking?
All right, Drew, thank you very much. A little bit more on Jeff Suppan. From a professional standpoint, his role model was Mike Schmidt. His family is from Philly. He said, you know what, I always modeled myself after him. I always knew I wanted to be a professional ball player, and I wanted to be a big leaguer. So that was the guy that he looked up to. However, his sister, his older sister, about 10 years older than Jeff, was actually the one that really helped him in terms of his mental game. She was a volleyball player at Cal State Northridge, and when Jeff was younger, he used to get very emotional about how the way that his games would end. If he didn't pitch very well, he would get very emotional, very upset, and she was the one that was able to kind of calm him down and say, you know what, there's a thing that you need to do to handle this, and kind of nip that in the bud. He credits his sister as being his first mental coach and really his first teacher. Pretty interesting. The older sis helping him out, guys.
Well, you got to keep it in the family.
That's right.
Yeah, you do. Torrealba will lead it off against Suppan. And the slider is down low, ball one.
You know, to put it in perspective, of Torrealba, a lifetime 259 hitter. This year, 283. Obviously, those numbers are up.
1-1. Rockies leading the wild card by 3 games. Ricky Nolasco with a 2-hit shutout with 2 outs in the 7th inning tonight for Florida. 1-2. He also has struck out 14 Braves. Hard ground ball down the first base line. Torrealba takes a look, and he's going to give 2 a try. Garrett's throw, not in time. Leadoff double for Torrealba. He has been something else.
Well, it hasn't just been the bat either. It's been the calling of the game, the operation of this starting rotation of what they've done. Slider away from him. Instead of trying to pull this, a lot of times on an off-speed pitch, you would take that ball to the left side, not the right side. Swung late and had a good action on him.
He's now 3 for 7 lifetime against Suppan, and here comes Ian Stewart. Stewart trying to snap a little 0 for 10 slide. He takes strike 1. Oh, 2. The Rockies score 7+ tonight. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6. Feed your fever with 4 tacos for $1. That is a steal. Yeah, and Chris Iannetta, we didn't even get to mention it. There were walk-off tacos last night. You hit the 2-run bomb. The Rockies win at 7-5. I hope you made your way to Taco Bell late this afternoon. Inside, 1-2. Stewart, the new dad. Baby girl earlier this month. And this is a good job by Stewart.
Well, the 1-2 count, it sure is. Break the ball out in front at 70 miles an hour, which is a little bit velocity-wise down for most guys that throw the hook. And he just pulled it to the right side, so it's up to Clint Barmas to try to put a shot in here and get a ball up to the right side, get a ball in. They're going to pull their infield in. That really plays to the advantage of a hitter when you have that short distance to react to the baseball.
And you know what? There have been a number of times, follow the Rockies, that you get empty at bats with Ian in situations like that because he swings and misses quite a bit. That time he made sure he got it in play and he got the runner to third. It's a good at bat for Stewart. Barmas takes ball 1. And this gets away far enough that Torrealba's going to give it a whirl. He's there. Torrealba scores on the second wild pitch of the night, and we're tied at 2. Jeff Suppan, normally a control pitcher.
I want to see, too, how the ball was trying to be blocked by Jason Kendall behind the plate, because a lot of times runner at third, if it's out of your span, and here's the span right here, the ball was out of the span, so a lot of times, and let's watch what he does reaction-wise, tries to go out and get to the baseball, but when it's a breaking ball, the ball's going to hit, and it's going to come towards the dugout. That ball just ricocheted off everything, and Torrealba very alertly got there. That ball wasn't more than 10, 12 feet from home plate. And it went a little farther as Kendall slid. Good hustle by Torrealba.
Back up the middle, and it's gloved by Lopez off the mound. And Barmes is thrown out. 2 outs. Hamill will come up. We go back to Turner Field in Atlanta. 5-0. Ricky Nolasco gives up the base hit to Adam LaRoche. Garrett Anderson and another come around. So it is 5-2 now, bottom of the 7th. There are 2 outs.
Well, the leader in wild pitches this year, Chad Billingsley with the Los Angeles Dodgers, has 14. I guess not far behind him, Jeff Suppan, 11 for the season.
See, I wouldn't have thought that with Suppan.
Well, I wouldn't have either, but the old hippie came through again over there looking, looking things up. He gets on his computer, starts digging around, gets bored with everything.
Escobar throws out Hamill. The Rockies get the equalizer in the 2nd inning. Torrealba doubles and makes his way around the base paths. He's tied with the Brewers, top of the 3rd inning. Torrealba got the Rockies' 2nd run. Clint Barmes has been a big part of the success of this club this year. We hear from him tonight, mic'd up.
You look at all the starts that we've gotten from all of our pitchers that got deep in games, and the big hits, the walk-offs, the go-ahead runs late in games on the road. I mean, you can go through this whole clubhouse, and everybody's put their part in, and that's what I think makes this team so special. And yeah, it's just overall been a great year up until this point.
And the Rockies trying to finish it out, at least in the regular season. Their magic number is 3. Felipe Lopez takes a breaking ball outside the zone, ball 1. Upstairs with George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. We have a special guest we're going to reintroduce you to in a moment. And now would be an appropriate time. Jeff Bzdelik, head coach at the University of Colorado in basketball, joins us. And you're dressed apropos.
Wait a minute.
That's right. Everybody's.
Yeah,
where's your colors?
I didn't get the memo. I got my gold right here, and there's a little black and gold. I'm good. I'm good. 3-0. How you been?
I'm terrific.
You doing well?
I'm doing great. I'm excited.
Before we start about hoops,
You're a big baseball fan. I know that because you come down from time to time. You go down to spring training.
That's right.
So this has to be neat for you also.
This is great. And what a great time of the year. I was just saying, what a beautiful night. And the Rockies are right there. And I'm seeing Atlanta getting beat. So all is good.
All is good. And that ball game did go to the 8th inning, 5-2. Ricky Nolasco throwing a gem for the Florida Marlins. But Hoop is never far from the forefront of your mind, I would assume. And you had a very young team, really one of the youngest teams, not only in the Big 12 but around the country last year. Couldn't find a senior. It was hard to find a junior with your club.
We had one senior and one junior. Played predominantly 3 freshmen and a sophomore. We lost 11 games by an average of 4 points per game to, well, at Oklahoma, 1 possession game with 40 seconds to go. At Kansas, 18 seconds to go, a 1 possession game. And Texas in overtime, and Nebraska by 2. And, you know, I can go on and on. Kansas State in overtime. And again, gaining wisdom and experience came at a very high cost, and that was not winning a lot of games, but that's in the future.
One guy you have coming back that I really enjoy watching. He's not a superstar, and I'm saying this, but he does everything for me pretty well. And you know who I'm talking about, Corey Higgins. He's fun to watch. He knows how to play. I mean, his dad was a very fine player. He grew up around, and he's very coachable, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
This could be 2. Hang on one sec. There's one. How athletic is that by Tulowitzki? Safe at first is Garrett. He was a pretty good basketball player, by the way, Tulowitzki in high school.
I'll tell you what, he's a great athlete. You can just tell just by that play.
Yeah.
A lot of balance in what he does, particularly out into the field, because you got to imagine you got somebody 220 running at you. They're going to try to bury you into the outfield. He's able to get his feet in the air and then still put the velocity on the throw. Very, very acrobatic type move. It's a shortstop. You always got to have quick feet and good balance, and he does have that. Ooh, replay. Can we do that over?
Boy.
Do you have a do-over? Should we have a do-over on that one? I think he was out.
Yeah, Tulowitzki thought he was out. Ryan Braun at the plate. You were talking about Corey Higgins.
Well, you know, Corey was voted 3rd team all Big 12 by the other 11 Big 12 coaches, because I can't vote for my own players. So that's a credit to him and a testimony to him as to how good he is. He led the Big 12 in steals last year as a sophomore. He was, I think, 6th or 7th in the league in scoring. Went to the free throw line over 100 times. Blake Griffin and just a couple other players went to the free throw line more than he did. He actually made, I think, 44 or 45 straight free throws, and then he missed one and made another 23 straight. So he's talented, and he's heading into his junior year, and we expect great things from him.
Base hit by Braun, and now you have a sticky situation. You got to deal with Prince Fielder. I don't know if Prince played hoops, but I know this: he can swing. He can swing the bat a little bit.
I was told he could dunk.
So I don't surprise me because he's explosive.
That he can dunk.
I'll tell you what, that first one he hit was a rope, wasn't it?
Oh, strong man. I had to pitch against his dad. His dad could do a lot of the same he's doing. He could hit a ball a long way.
See, his dad was taller, but the same body build. They just, you know, Prince just got compressed a little bit.
Reminded me of my first boss in the NBA, Wes Unseld, only from 6'7" down to maybe 5'7", right?
Wes a big man. He hit one out to center field his first time up. He takes high ball 1, and here's what Jeff Bzdelik was referring to.
High fastball, you allow him to stay on that level plane swing, get a little lift to it, and he's going to carry the baseball. He's only done it 44 times this year with this club. A very good 1-2 punch. Could see in the home runs, trailing Pujols by 3.
Did you do like every other Big 12 coach and send a note to Blake Griffin wishing him well in the NBA? Glad you're gone.
You know, for every underclassman after a ball game that's really talented, when I shake their hands, I said, look, I know a lot of people in the NBA, and it would suit you well and all of us if you went early in the draft.
There's a number of those in your conference.
Yes.
That's his little brother. His big brother was good, too. He really, you know what? He took the charge. He grabbed rebounds. He took tough defensive assignments. He could go out on the wing and guard. I think he's with
Phoenix.
Phoenix right now.
Phoenix really likes him. They took him in the 2nd round, and I know they like the way he plays.
How about the class coming in, Jeff? I know you were excited about it when we chatted last winter.
Well, you know, to be quite frank, last year we weren't deep enough, strong enough, mature enough as a very young basketball team, and I thought my guys wore out. You know, we talked about all the close games, and we you know, Corey Higgins can't play 37 minutes a game. Dwight Thorne 36, 37 minutes. But now we've brought in 5 good players. So 3 of them have the potential to start.
Runners going, and Torrealba lost the handle on it.
All right, I got to ask this question now, and I'm managing. Why would I throw a double steal out, which allows Jim Tracy, when his club's tied in a ball game, to walk Prince, put him at first, and set up the double play? Did it twice last night, and it worked both times then.
I'll give you the answer, I think, George, in a moment.
You're going to wait to see if he's going to walk him?
No.
They're going to pitch to him.
No, because I think that Ken Mock is thinking, well, there's already 2 strikes on him. They're not going to walk him. He's still going to have a chance to hit.
Man, I'm trying to manage from way up here. But I'd be scared to give the guy a pitch to hit. That's just me. And if I got the 3 balls on him and I couldn't get him out, then I'm probably going to give him a pass to first base.
I believe that Willie Randolph's his bench coach, managed for a long time with the Mets. I think it had everything to do with the fact that there were 2 strikes on him. And he has that much confidence in
obviously,
fielding.
It caught everybody by surprise.
You bet.
Because it wasn't a throw down or wasn't anything at third.
He got it.
Love it. Big hook. A nasty curveball.
How large was that?
That was very big, and it's a pitch needed, and it's the position of the pitch on the outer half of the plate, which doesn't allow him to really get good extension. Yet as he reads this pitch, he's going to think this ball's staying up as a fastball because of the arm action, and then the bottom drops out of it. But it's in a position at the plate that's difficult. It's falling across the plate, not a balanced swing. He's not going to hurt you with it.
You're not out of the forest yet because this guy at the plate can hit. Casey McGee, single and a run scored last inning. And the slider backed up a little bit, ball 1. You mentioned Dwight Thorne. I thought of all your players, he made the greatest strides from 2 years ago to last year. Fair statement?
Fair statement. You know, Dwight's very young. He really should be a sophomore as opposed to being a rising senior right now. He's a very young player. He's I think just coming into his own right now. He's got a great attitude, hard worker. He went and played for Athletes in Action back in June. Went over to Poland and Germany to play. He's really worked on his game. You know, he was one of the better 3-point shooters in the Big 12.
He improved tremendously from the line, from behind the arc. That's in there, 2-1. And as always, we'll have a number of your ball games on FSN Rocky Mountain. I look forward to that. Coach Barry will be with me again.
We're looking forward to the season.
You guys go to Maui and hold on a second.
Yeah,
I didn't get my invitation.
Games, huh?
Bummed out about that. Here's the 2-1, fisted to second base, and Hamill gets out of it. That's pretty good pitching. That's like knocking down your free throws the final 20 seconds, right?
That's exactly right.
Well, Coach, when you come to Tulsa, I want to sit behind your bench. I promise I won't get you a technical. I'll be good, but I will ride the referees. Very good for you. Just tell me what you want to do.
Well, and he'll do that.
And I'll do it.
I'll tell you what, you can coach a team if you want to.
No, I don't want to do that. I just try to keep them getting tough.
Good to see you, Jeff.
Great to see you.
You're all right. Good to see you. Have fun tonight. I'll talk to you.
Tulsa.
Tonight's E470 Road Ahead brought to you by E470 and Express Toll, the best way to save time and money. Final home game of the regular season tomorrow afternoon. It could be a real special one. We'll see how the rest of this evening goes. And then the Rockies will be in L.A. And George, Wednesday, circle the 7th, because that will be game 1 of the division series. If the Rockies can take care of business here over the next couple of days, maybe the next 24 hours. Again, a big thanks to Jeff Bizdell, a good man. He's turned that program around up at the University of Colorado. Carlos had a triple his first time up, inside 1 and 2. And trust me, and you know this, George, because I know how closely you follow college basketball. He did it with the Nuggets. He did it at the Air Force Academy. He can flat out coach.
Oh, he can coach. I mean, you watch some of these teams. There's a ground ball right at Prince. I mean, I went to the Oklahoma State game, and within, down to the last minute. Unfortunately, he just didn't have the athletes to match up 8 or 9 guys deep. Everybody's got to play the number of minutes. And then, like a lot of good programs, they'll let those other guys make a run. And all of a sudden, here comes the horses the last 7 minutes, and your guys' tongues are hanging out. And it just made it hard to play the game. Yeah, he's gonna fix it. I mean, you watch him. You watch him work the sidelines. You watch him work his team. He has their attention. They're playing his style of basketball.
You will play hard, or you won't play.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and you play that way in practice, too. I mean, that
got Smitty.
Sure did, right on the back foot.
So Seth Smith will go to first. 1 out, and Todd Helton coming up.
Close to the plate with the back foot, anticipating the pitch in, then just couldn't get out of the way of the pitch. Watch, it's going to catch you pretty flush, right on the ball of the foot.
So now he's got 2 wild pitches and a hit back.
You got all these categories when you're in the pitching side of things. You want to make sure you fill them all up every game. Wild pitch, fastball.
George, maybe you didn't realize this. I know you pitch, but some you actually don't want to fill up.
That's not one of them. Hit batsman and wild pitches are the 2 you'd like to see.
Helton clobbers this high and deep right field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. His 15th of the year, and the Rockies lead it 4-2. That was similar, George, to his swing in the first inning that he hit very hard. This one just had a little more air underneath it.
The other one had a little bit of that top spin to it. 325 career home runs for Todd, a high fastball that he got up, and Helton just made him pay for it. And it's so much fun to see this guy playing in September when games mean so much, and the Rockies leaning on a leader like Todd Helton to lead them through that way, and he does it here.
4-2 Rockies. Here's Tulowitzki.
.24 home runs now given up by Jeff Suppan. That leads the club.
You look at these numbers now for Helton. After that swing of the bat, George, he's at .324. 15 home runs, 86 RBIs, Gold Glove caliber defense at first. That's a pretty fair player. And I think everybody's, maybe around the country, they still compare Todd to 7-8 years ago when he was hitting 30+ home runs. But that's a darn good player. 300 every month.
What's amazing to me, and I wanted to look over to see what this is, but you can't talk about average home runs, RBIs, and everything else. On the Milwaukee Brewers, Prince Fielder's been walked 20 times. On the Colorado Rockies, the most intentional walks issued to a batter, 7. Brad Hawk.
Another foul ball by Tulowitzki. .325 lifetime home runs for the guy on the right, 409 for the guy on the left. By the way, that's Helton's 200th career home run here at Coors Field. Escobar throws out his counterpart. And there's 2 outs. That'll bring up Brad Hopp. Dex, this date in history, September 30th, 8 years ago. Todd Helton's double against Milwaukee is his 100th extra base hit of the year. He's the first player in history to have 100 base hits, 100 extra base hits in back-to-back seasons. Lou Gehrig and Chuck Klein were the only others to do it twice in their careers. Think about that. I mean, you have to be one of those guys that hits 45 home runs and 45 doubles, and then you'd still need 10 triples. That's hard to come by. This ball is smoked to left center field. Long run for Brown. Hit off his arm. Hop into second. Will stop there with a 2-out double.
Totally misplayed the ball in left field on a run to go get it. It appeared that he just overran the baseball. Base hit for Brad Hopp. Talked about all of the wind blowing here, and it is blowing at Coors Field. So you're either going to get carry or knocked down, and this ball not hit very high, yet hit on the line by Brad Hopp. As you're going to see it leave this bat as it gets out into left field. Let's watch Braun see what happens to him. He reaches up, and it hits his wrist. On the Hyundai cam, it'll give you a really good shot of it here. As you look up, he tries to get it. I mean, again, a play that close that he should have made it, didn't make it. Good for Brad Hopp and the Rockies, a 2-out double.
Torrealba, he doubled his first time up.
Yeah, that's one of the guys you want up with the Rockies. 2 outs with runners in scoring position, hitting nearly 370.
Runners in scoring position. This is silly numbers. 19 for 39, 487 batting average.
That's impressive. 2 outs. I mean, that's what impresses me. Being able to put the ball in play and get the base hit. 370, 368.
2-0. Top of 9 in Atlanta, 5-2 still Florida, with the Marlins hitting in the top of the 9th. I walked out of the ballpark last night with Torrealba, and he was mad at himself because his last at bat, George, he felt like he got a little big. And he said, somebody's going to pay tomorrow. He said, I got to stay back up the middle like I've been doing.
Well, exactly. And that's what happens to him as he tries to get a little bit big, starts trying to hit the ball too hard. Even the line drive up the middle yesterday was more of a back leg home run type swing than it was the typical Torrealba swing.
Like that. Base hit again. Here comes Hopp around third. Cameron's throw to the plate is going to be cut off. Torrealba has nobody behind him except Glenn Allen Hill. And Glenn Allen's not going to tag him out. He does it again with 2 outs. Torrealba makes it 5-2 Colorado.
Well, think about taking advantage. Brad Hopp able to take this baseball, gets to second base, and then Torrealba on a high pitch. So that ball went down at all. Torrealba just made him pay for it, and then Mike Cameron out in center field throws the ball in. Very short once again. Cut off. I want to look at the side swing of Torrealba. Watch how everything shortens up here. You're not going to see a big stride out into this area. All you're going to see the hands quick to the baseball. See how he takes that high kick, stays back, and then the hands work so well to the baseball. Arm in tight to the body. You got your extension, hands inside the baseball, and they just drove it back up the middle.
You remember, I'm sure, George, all too well on the occasion that you give up a run with 2 outs. It breaks your morale.
Well, it really does, because you're able to make pitches and you get to that 2-out spot and you still have a guy in scoring position and you get 2 strikes on the batter and you give up the base hit. Main reason behind that, the ball was up. I'll tell you, has the temperature dropped a little bit here at Coors Field?
Yeah, we're supposed to get a little weather
perhaps
tomorrow.
No. It hadn't. Sam said no. Of course, he's got to park it on, so I guess not.
Alana, is it chilly?
Absolutely freezing down here, and the wind is blowing pretty hard.
Well, you're the one who wears an
You need a
overcoat.
wool cap.
You
and a
wear an
beanie or
overcoat in
anything?
July, though.
I have a cap. It's cold, guys.
Where's your cap?
Much colder than yesterday.
Ball and 2 strikes on Ian Stewart. Stayed alive. Rockies have scored in each of the first 3 innings against Jeff Suppan, who has a 6-1 lifetime record against Colorado, unbeaten at Coors Field, 3-0. Swung on and missed. Suppan gets the strikeout. That's his first of the ball game, but the Rockies get 3. Todd Helton, a 2-run home run. Career home run number 325, his 15th of the season. Rockies add on after that. 5-2 they lead.
Takes. If you're going to make it to the playoffs, you got to have not only 25 guys, but throughout the course of the season, probably 30, 35, and you got to be deep, and this organization is.
Yeah, Todd Helton before the ball game talking about the organization's depth, and that has been on display throughout September. I mean, think of guys that have chipped in beyond the original 25-man roster. Eric Young Jr. has had his moments. Paul Phillips threw out a big hit earlier this month. Beyond, the guys you're accustomed to seeing, Mike McCoy has seen the field and had his moments. So this organization, when you look ahead, this ball in the air to center field and deep. And this one's gone. Wow, that got up in the wind stream. Took off. Mike Cameron with his 24th of the year. 5-3. Suffice it to say, the organization is in a very good place.
Well, you got to go back too. You're talking about all the players that have come up and contributed. Asheville's in the playoffs. Tri-City's in the playoffs. Tulsa just came out a game short of it. And then same thing in Colorado Springs. Everybody, high fastball, up out over the plate. You allow a strong man to extend his arms. A lot of times the results aren't going to be good. Mike Cameron with his 24th home run, 69th RBI on the season.
His last 5 hits, all home runs. 5 for his last 30. He makes them count. Got more good news potentially, George. The Marlins still ahead 5-2, top of 9, but they have the bases loaded and 1 out.
That is very good news.
Needs to break it open. Escobar with a 1-2 count. Two and two. This is trouble.
Yeah, good speed.
An infield hit
wish
for
we had a
Escobar.
clock on that from the right side.
I clocked it, George. It was really fast.
RF?
Yeah, RF really fast. Jason Kendall coming up. Time for our Great Colorado Payback Sideline Report with Alana.
All right, guys, thanks very much. Just a little bit more about what you were just saying about how so many of these players have been big contributors. I was talking to Jorge Torrealba about that, about how so many of them, he said, you know what, we weren't even sure if they were going to be on the roster to start the season. Some people questioned why they were on the roster in terms of like a Seth Smith or an Ian Stewart. But now these guys are absolutely people that pitchers, opposing pitchers, fear in terms of our lineup. He said every single person on this club knows their role, and there are no small roles for the Colorado Rockies. And he said, you know what, that's exactly what we have to have going down this stretch, going into the postseason. He said there's no easy person to face in a lineup, and that's exactly what we need to have, guys.
Thanks, Alana. George, I would think players, more than anybody else, they respect the small contributions. You know, the fans, they focus on the guys who play every day, the guys who are the stars of the club for the most part. But players really respect the guy that does the little thing, and maybe he gets in a ball game once every 3 days, but he contributes, and that's not lost in the clubhouse.
But the thing that I think where you've got to look for those guys is what they do. Steal a base, go in and make a defensive play, pinch hit, get a base hit, do some different things to obviously make Jim Tracy's job a lot easier. And again, I think that's where he has really defined a guy's role on this ball club, of what they're going to do out of the bullpen. When the phone rings in the 6th inning, Matt Daly knows there's a chance he's pitching the 7th. It's none of this, well, you know, if a guy gets on, you may get up. If not, you get up. And, well, I want to hold the guy back till tomorrow, because, you know, there's none of that. It's win today's baseball game. Worry about tomorrow when it gets here.
That's a strike on Kendall, 1-1.
There's a guy that's very close to me, Johnny Oates, that passed away with a brain tumor. And when he managed Baltimore to the playoffs, he managed Texas to the playoffs. And Johnny, one thing that he said he had the most difficult thing of doing as a manager was enjoying the wins. Because as soon as the game was over, he was worrying about tomorrow. And he said that is one lesson that he could pass on. And I had a lot of conversations with him before he's passing. He said that one thing I could pass on to any manager, it was enjoy your wins. Yeah. Forget your losses, enjoy your wins. And I talked to Joe Torre about that. And Joe said, you know, win or lose, after every game, I go have a huge meal and I go to bed. Because there's nothing I can do about that game. We don't either win or a loss. There's nothing I can do about that game. Are some of them harder than others? Absolutely. But there's nothing I can do to bring that game back. And if I go and beat myself up over a move I didn't make, or I left a guy in too long, or I should have pinch hit for this guy, he said it'll drive you crazy.
1-2 on Kendall. Suppan on deck.
And I think that's where Jim Tracy is. I mean, he's already thinking about tomorrow, but he's not worrying about tomorrow till it gets here. And he's prepared with a lineup of what he wants to do against that pitcher, of who he wants to put in the lineup. situations. He'll run through his mind, and he's told me this. He'll run it through his mind, 5 or 6 different scenarios that could happen. And when it does happen, he's prepared to make that decision. He doesn't turn around and look and go, what do you guys think? He knows what he wants to do, and it's his decision. And, you know, I like that in a manager because the buck stops right there.
Escobar going, swung on and missed. Escobar is going to go first to third.
Pretty heads-up baseball. Swing and a miss, even though you got a pitcher coming up behind him. Suppan lifetime average. It doesn't swing it a lot, but around the 150 mark. Kendall swung at a pitch well out of the strike zone. Watch, hard slider, well out of the zone. Kendall just threw it out like he had 1 strike on it. It wasn't even close, but when this ball's coming into Torrealba, watch as he goes to work after this baseball. Instead of catching it and watching it all the way into the glove, he was thinking about throwing a guy out, and all the body's movement started for the throw out before he actually caught the baseball.
Now you want to prevent Suppan from getting it in play. Are you surprised you're up a couple runs?
No, I'm not surprised. You're up a couple of runs, leave it back, get the out because of where you are in the ballgame.
Yeah, I was just thinking with the pitcher up, 0-1.
Yeah, the worst thing you want to have happen, if you play him in on the grass and all of a sudden he fished one over your head at short or second.
Of course, he has great speed, so even if you bring him in halfway, probably going to score. You know, to embellish your discussion a little bit, George, your point you were making on coaches, managers in baseball enjoying victories. You hear that in football all the time. You put so much time into 1 game a week in football, whether it be the NFL or college or high school coaches. Do you enjoy it because you know you're turning around and breaking down film? That's going to get the run home. 5-4. Fifth RBI for Suppan. I think when you get to this time of year, these are playoff games.
Well, sure they are.
These have the intensity of a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean you've got three. You got a 3-game lead going into tonight. You're looking at a board out here, watching the game is 5-2.
They now are in the bottom of the 9th inning. Florida unable to score with the bases loaded. Two 2-0 on Felipe Lopez. Three 3-0. 72 pitches in for Hamill. He has not been quite as sharp tonight as we've seen him in recent outings. And one of the things I wanted to point out, in 8 of his last 10 outings, George, he's allowed fewer hits than innings pitched, which was almost never the case the first, say, 10 starts of the year. And this is his 30th.
That's why when you look at the innings pitched, 169 2/3, nearly 200 hits, 194 coming into this ball game. But in recent starts, about the last 7 or 8, it's been just a direct opposite of that.
3-2. The most impressive stat of all since May 24th, the Rockies are 16-8 when Hamill starts the baseball game. He gets Lopez on 1 hopper to second, 2 runs in the inning, including a Cameron home run. It's 5-4 Colorado.
played baseball so much because, in some other sports, it's not the same. If you're on a basketball team and your stud doesn't have a big game, you're probably not going to win. Whereas in, you have baseball that anybody can be the guy any specific day. You can have Iannetto win a game today, and then Tulo, and then Helton, and then a pitcher. It's just crazy. And I think that's why I have so much respect for this game.
Yeah, different hero every night for the Rockies in the month of September. Clint Barmes was that man 2 nights ago, the defensive play. There's my partner said a walk-off. This ball is ripped foul. A walk-off defensive play.
That's exactly what it was.
Do you know that last night's Chris Iannetta walk-off pinch hit home run was only the 3rd in franchise history?
John Vanderwall and Ellis Burks. Ellis Burks was the first one, and Vanderwall after him, and then last night Chris.
And this is one hopper to McGee.
Can I tell you something else about last night you didn't know?
What's that?
At the end of the game?
Go ahead.
Did you know David Weathers got tossed out of the ball game after the game?
I did not know that.
Yeah, he got the little heave-ho on the way to the dugout.
Was it over the 2-2 pitch, Chris Iannetta's check swing?
That had a little bit of something to do with it. Here we go. Ellis Burks, 95 in June, and then Vanderwall in 96. And then last night, Chris Oneida.
We call him Iannetta, George.
Oneida. Some people call him Iannetta. Where do they get that from? I've heard him on national telecast call him Iannetta.
Those folks
don't watch the games?
Haven't done their homework.
I didn't think so.
Well, it was earlier this year I heard, and Barmes has been around now for 5 years.
Barnes?
Call him Barnes.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Thank
you. 1-2 on Jason Hamill. Well, the Braves putting a little rally together, George. They've scored a run courtesy of an error. It's 5-3, 2 outs, runner on second. And Hamill's gone. That's the second strikeout for Suppan. Carlos Gonzalez coming up. Here's our Affleck trivia question. Who has been in the big leagues longer, Trevor Hoffman, David Weathers, or the Colorado Rockies? That's a great question.
That's pretty good.
That's really good. Ball 1 on Gonzalez. Triple and a hard ground ball to Prince Fielder at first. Rockies got a run in the first, a run in the second, 3 in the third. Boy, nothing easy. It's first and third, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. The Marlins up by 2 runs.
Who's at the plate?
Omar Infante, George, is at the plate. Not a guy you would think would hit it out of the ballpark. So hopefully he grounds to second. Actually, quite honestly, I don't care where he hits it as long as it's an out. You're with me on that.
Yeah, I mean, when you start being picky, that doesn't count. An out's an out, right?
You'll take a line shot to the wall.
Exactly. It's still an out.
I'm with you. Change up a little bit low. 3-1. Touched the inside corner, 3-2. Darrell Cousins behind home plate. I think we forgot to ID him. Jim Joyce at first, Jerry Davis at second, Bill Miller at third. So who threw him out? Bill Miller, George?
Well, I wasn't told, but they tossed him because he was disappointed. One, that the pitch wasn't called, check swing wasn't called. Plus, that's the second time this year that Iannetta had gotten him. He had to hit one in the upper deck in Cincinnati off of Weathers to win a ball game. So, I mean, it's then been a pleasant ride with Mr. Weathers and Mr. Iannetta.
Line drive, left field. It's got too much slice on it. Well, let's go down to Atlanta. See what's going on. Omar Infante at the plate in a 5-3 game. Runners at first and third. Softly hit to right. And it'll drop. It is 5-4. And now the tying run is at second base. This ball hit hard, but right to the second baseman. What happened there? Gonzalez hurt himself, George.
Oh boy, don't need this. Jim Tracy's going to pop out. Keith Duggar will pop out. They're going to check on the youngster. See what happened. Let's take a look at this and see exactly what happened. Ball's hit. Did he roll his ankle right there?
Yeah. Did he step on the bat? He rolled his ankle. Hopefully he's able to walk that off. 5-4 Colorado as we go to the fifth. Rockies up 5-4, top of the fifth inning. Jason Hamill has had tough last 3 innings. It's a quick one. He gave up 2 last inning. It's in traffic in the third, left 2 on, gave up 2 in the second. He had a great first inning. 1, 2, 3, and a couple of punch outs.
And you're in the part of that lineup that starts to get scary with Jody Garrett, Ryan Braun, Prince Fielder, and then of course McGee.
Ground ball through the left side. Garrett reaches. Base is now loaded for Atlanta, so they have the winning run at second base. They had a 3-run deficit when they came to bat down at Turner Field. Who has been in the big leagues longer? Trevor Hoffman, David Weathers, or the Rockies? Well, you know the Rockies. Well, maybe you don't know, but the Rockies are not the right answer. Weathers has been in the league for 19 years. And Hoffman has been in the league since '93, the same year as the Rockies, so it's David Weathers. Ryan Braun singled his last time up.
Very aggressive hitter at the plate. You saw that, a good fastball down and in. Velocity was there at 91 with some heavy sink. Tried to go right after it. 318, 30 home runs, 107 RBIs. A couple of guys with an awful lot of RBIs, 245 combined between Fielder and Braun.
I heard this description of Ryan Braun from inside the Milwaukee organization. Said he's such a good hitter. He thinks he can hit every pitch. And that's why he does not walk much. 56 walks this year compared to the guy who hits behind him, Fielder, who's walked over 100 times.
Contreras starting to throw down in the Rockies bullpen. A leadoff single.
If your windshield's damaged, call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelight.com. 1-2 on Braun. Let's go to Turner Field. Brandon Donnelly's in. The ball gets away, and the runner decided to not go. He's picked off third base, and that's the end of the ball game. How do you like that? And Florida wins 5-4. The magic number for the Rockies down to 2. Some people in the house are hearing it. Throw from the knees, and a stolen base for Jody Garrett. They're going to wait for dramatic effect here at the ballpark, and they'll wait between innings as they did yesterday. But folks, it is a final. Florida wins 5-4. What a strange finish, George. The runner breaks for the plate and then says, you know what? I can't make it. I'm going to go back.
Yeah, but then the guts of the Florida Marlins catcher to fire a bullet down to third base and get the runner who had extended off too far. Talking about playing the game with instincts, not worrying about where the ball may go. He just made the pitch when he needed to. Well, enough of that. You need now's the deal. You got to do it right now. Is you got to get after this. The Rockies do it. Shut things off here.
3.5 game lead now for the Rockies. Could be 4 if the Rockies can win tonight. But Hamill dealing with a leadoff man who's now at second base. And you know, if the Rockies can lock up a playoff spot, George, one of the areas that you know teams will try to exploit is the fact that they have given up a very high percentage of stolen bases.
Yeah, not necessarily on guys that are burners on the base pass either. Torey Alba this year has struggled in that category as a catcher. He has not thrown out very many guys at all. At 4 for 47 last time I checked it. Torey Alba on the season, he's doing most of the catching. 4 for 49 now.
But again, it's an equation, as you well know. It's not just on the catcher. Here's the 2-2, and that gets Braun. So now they're 2 on for Prince Fielder. We're going to bounce around the National League. We go to Philadelphia.
Berkman grounds. Ryan Howard.
Ball off the Battlelands Berkman. They get the out at first. Philadelphia clinches another National League East title. They wouldn't going away tonight 10-3. Brad Lidge getting the final out. We've been doing a lot of celebrating in Philadelphia the last few years. Defending world champs will have an opportunity to defend. And if the baseball season ended, at least this morning, the Rockies would have been going to Philadelphia. We'll see how it plays out over the next few days.
Well, they now have 92 wins and 66 losses. The St. Louis Cardinals 90 wins. They're losing tonight in Cincinnati.
They just put it up during the delay. Florida 5, the Braves 4, and big applause here at Coors Field. Coming soon, Rocktober, you bet. Fielder, a home run and a strikeout. Juno. He's done that a little bit more tonight than he has in his recent starts, falling behind some hitters.
Well, I had mentioned earlier, well, a great job. He had led the pitching staff, or the starters, I should say. And the efficiency of getting the leadoff man at 72%. Just really limit what can happen to you damage-wise. Unfortunately tonight for him, they were able to get a run back in the second inning. That was the home run off Prince Fielder. Started the inning off. They had a walk and to lead the third off, and then they had another home run in the fourth, and then now here a base hit and a hit batsman. 3-0 on Mr. Fielder.
Fielder and Howard tied with 138 RBIs. That's the big league lead as well, not just the National League lead. I asked Prince about that famous home run he hit in batting practice when he was 12, upper tank at Old Tiger Stadium. And I said, did you do it just once? He said, I went upper deck just once. He said, I hit a few others over the wall. This is a 12-year-old at Tiger Stadium. And I said, Little League must have been fun. They never pitched to you. He goes, it wasn't bad in Little League. He said, but by the time I got to my senior year in high school, he said, I didn't get too many at bats. Swung on and missed all the way back. Hamill strikes out Prince Fielder.
Same exact pitch that he struck him out on just a few minutes ago, and his previous at bat with runners at second and third. Curveball down and away, outside corner. Tell you what a great pitch this was from Jason Hamill, second time to get the big first baseman.
That is his 8th strikeout of the ball game. And that matches a season high. He had 8 against Cincinnati earlier this month. McGregor is 1 for 2. And this ball's launched to left field and deep. Smith going back. And he makes the catch. And the Rockies should have an easy double play. Broad was all the way around second. In fact, he could have reached out and touched Jody Garrett. He just assumed he was getting over the head of Smith. Wonderful play by Seth Smith. A 7-6-3 put out at first. No damage done. Living on the edge, but the Rockies still lead 5-4. Colorado Rockies baseball on FSN is brought to you by your Colorado Hyundai dealers. Take a look at the 5-star safety rated all-wheel drive Hyundai Santa Fe. You get more for less at your Colorado Hyundai dealers.
by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Dex, take the sport out of finding local information with Dex in print and online at dexknows.com. Well, the man who made the play defensively, as is often the case in this great game, leads off the next inning. Seth Smith is 1 for 1. Run-scoring single in the first, hit by a pitch in the third, and he came around to score on the 2-run home run by Todd Helton. What a marvelous defensive play by Smith. And again, you come back to something that we frequently bring up and opposition managers bring up, and that is the overall athleticism of this baseball club.
Well, again, if people always remember Seth Smith, this guy has got so much talent, multiple athlete, football, baseball, knew where he was at the wall, and then reached up and able to make this catch. Folks, that may have just won the ball game. That's how big a catch this was. With both of those runners all the way around, if it ricochets off, you're going to see the Rockies trailing in this game. And, you know, Seth Smith was a very, very good outfielder. He's made himself a better one here at the big league level. You know, there was a great quote, and again, you know, I'm not going to pick on A.J. Hinch, but guy in Arizona, the manager that manages Diamondbacks, and he was talking about Schlereth, the left-handed reliever he had. He said, you know what, he can go down and put big numbers in Double-A, put big numbers in A-ball, but till he gets to the big leagues and has to make a pitch in situations or make a play, you never really know how good they are. Wind may play havoc with this one. I thought it would. I thought McGee didn't play that very well. It took off, and he just kind of tried to Willie Mays it over the shoulder. But until you get to the big leagues and experience that same exact play, you don't realize what guys can or can't do because they get labeled so early. Smith's a good outfielder. He's going to give chase on it here, and as the ball's coming down, he just kind of flips the glove out and doesn't make the play on the baseball.
Well, George, usually your best outfielder is going to be in center field, speed-wise, range-wise. And think about this with the Rockies. Fouled off again. 4 of their top 5 outfielders all play center field. Smith, remember, the Rockies played him a little bit in center field early in the year.
And even last year at the end of the year to see if he could do play the position, he did fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
Fowler,
is he a center fielder? No. But he can play the position adequately and not hurt you defensively.
Right. The point is he's a good enough athlete that you don't have a problem, if you need to, putting him out there. Spilborghs was the Rockies' starting center fielder at the beginning of the year. Fowler has emerged. He obviously is a center fielder. Gonzalez is a center fielder. Good eye, 3-2. Rockies looking to pad their lead. They're up 5-4, bottom of 5. If you're flicking around tonight, the Marlins beat the Braves 5-4. They hung on in a crazy 9th inning. Magic number for Colorado down to 2. And a broken bat roller to Felipe Lopez. 5 in a row now retired by Jeff Suppan. Going to bring up Helton. Time for our Excel Energy fun fact. Chris Iannetta hit a walk-off home run in the 11th inning for the Rockies last night. I think you knew that. It was Colorado's 3rd walk-off win in September, tying them with the Yankees for the most in the major leagues this month. That's from Excel Energy. Helton has hit 2 rockets. One was caught in right, and the other one was sort of caught by a fan beyond the auxiliary scoreboard. His 15th home run of the year. It came with Smith aboard. Two and 0. When it comes to your water heater, 120 is the magic number. Overheating your water beyond 120 can be wasteful and unsafe. Learn more energy facts at responsiblebynature.com. Three and 0. Rockies 28-11 against the Central Division. And the Braves have lost 2 in a row. People wanted to make parallels to what the Braves
were doing in comparison with the Rockies did in 07, and somewhat fair. Another chance for Lopez because they had won 14 of 16 until the last couple of days. But it's not like the Rockies were falling apart. The Rockies bring a record of 17-9 in the month of September to the ballpark.
Well, that's the big thing Jim Tracy talked about. Everybody wants to talk about what the Braves have done. Think about what the Rockies have done and where they've been able to hold their position because of the play of Todd Helton, because of what players have done to make big hits at big times.
And here it is. April was bad. May was much better. But June, 21-7. That's when they righted the ship. July, solid. August, solid. September, outstanding. I mean, you play 4 games over, George. If you do that for 6 months, you're 24 over for the season.
Pretty good times, huh?
Yeah.
And you look at the struggles early in April, then again in May, it's the same thing happened. And then when they took off in June is when they go to St. Louis, sweep them 4, they go to Houston, and then on over to Milwaukee on that road trip. Just flip the switch on and look out. Here they came.
1-0 to Tulowitzki, and that's going to be a base hit through the left side. His first of the night. And for the Rockies, their 7th hit of the evening. 2 pretty good young players there visiting, Prince Fielder and Troy Tulowitzki. And they've already, George, put up really nice numbers, and they're in their mid-20s. And they're both leaders.
Now, Prince did a nice job coming over, particularly a high school kid signing, and then you got Tulowitzki coming out of a very established college program that had won at Long Beach. Tulowitzki handles himself very well. He handles himself in a very professional manner. And what has impressed me about Tulowitzki, and even guys like Brad Hopp, that they respect the game and the players that have played the game. Even though they're very good players in their own right, they still obviously have a great respect for the uniform and the game of baseball.
This ball hit the center field, and Cameron was right there. It was hit like a bullet. We'll go to the 6th inning. Colorado leading Milwaukee 5-4. Cameron will lead it off for the Brew Crew. Go to the Rockies dugout. Jim Tracy kind enough to put the headset on. Trace, your offense has been able to get after a guy that in the past they've struggled with pretty early in this game.
Yeah, Drew, some of the matchups weren't real good when I looked at them this afternoon, but I can tell you this, we've taken some very good at-bats. I think the big key is we're staying in the big part of the ballpark. He wants us to pull the ball. We're not doing that. We're staying in the big part of the field, which is good, and we've done a great job with runners at third base, less than 2 outs.
And a pretty hard thrower you're bringing into the ball game right now, Jimmy.
Yeah, it is, George. You know, I give Jason Hamill a lot of credit. We saw starts earlier in the season where he was up in the zone tonight fighting his mechanics. Got 2 huge strikeouts of Prince Fielder, obviously, to keep him around and keep us where we're at. Give him credit for that, but he was up in the zone an awful lot tonight.
Hey, Jim, good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, you guys.
So taking over will be Jose Contreras. And George, he seems to have bought into this new role.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think this is the 4th time in his career he's worked out of the bullpen, and he realizes he's on a team to get back to touch and get another ring as he did with the Chicago White Sox. He sees the magic of this team. And it's very similar to the team they had in Chicago, where it was a different hero every single night. And he's enjoying playing the game. And again, I have no history of this, but wearing a different uniform in a different league. And you got to remember, he was with the Yankees, then with the White Sox. So when he's come over here, it's not a lot of history here.
Yeah, Gonzalez broke the wrong way, but he has great recovery speed. And I guess that ankle and the hammy, okay.
Well, he's still out there. So that's a great indication to me that everything's fine. First move on a big swing from Cameron. Remember, he hit the ball out of the ballpark. He took about 8 strides back and then just turned on the afterburners, came in and made an easy play on the baseball.
Alcides Escobar coming up with 1 out. This call to the bullpen is brought to you, as always, by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Call 1-800-COMCAST. And Escobar takes a strike. I think what gets your attention when a guy comes out of the bullpen now with the ability to throw 95 to 97.
Well, what it does do, and it has some movement to it too. What it does do, it allows you to take a guy and go 5 innings. And as every manager like to tell you, that his bullpen turns the game into a 5 or 6 inning game because of what the bullpen has accomplished and what they can do. And with the addition of Contreras down in the bullpen, he's a 3-pitch mix. He'll go 93 to 97 with his fastball. He'll throw a hard slider upwards in the high 80s, and then he'll throw that hard split finger too at you too that dives out of the strike zone.
One, 2 on Escobar, and that's way outside. 2-2. You know, the Brewers this year finished 40-41 at home. It's the first time since 2004 they didn't have a winning record at Miller Park. A year ago, they were 49-32 at home. They're going to have to regroup that rotation. This is back up the middle, a base hit. Probably reconfigure it on who they're going to throw behind Giovanni Gallardo next year. One out and 1 on for Kendall. Hamill goes 5 innings, gives up 4 runs on 7 hits, walked 1, struck out 8. Contreras was never going to throw that ball. He was going to hold it. Ground ball toward the hole, cut off by Stewart, doesn't have a play. That'll be an infield hit. How many third basemen get to that ball? I mean, you
not
get
many.
leather on it.
And again, this is a situation of what Richie Dyer has done with his defense, and what he's done, he's been able to pinch it. When you can pinch the defense, what it amounts to, folks, is it means that Stewart has moved off the bag closer, so it gives him the opportunity to show off what he can really do, and that is go get the baseball. I mean, that's a 3-step dive. And if he holds on to the baseball right there, he's going to throw Jason Kendall out. On a bunt play here, don't look necessarily at first base, because Kendall does not run as well. I mean, he's limping a little bit right now. He's pretty beat up. 7 stolen bases on the year, but remember, he used to steal a lot of bases. Also look at second base on a throw down. You may get caught off guard here and be able to flip something pretty special.
One strike to count on Jeff Suppan. Rockies up 5-4. Milwaukee has had traffic in every inning save the first. Good bunt. Contreras, low throw, and a nice pickup by Vargas. 2 outs. Felipe Lopez will come up.
Ball right out in front. It's going to roll away from Torrealba. No play for Todd Helton, but then go ahead and throw the baseball. Lucky scoop there. That ball could have shot down that right field line pretty easy. Nice defensive help, though. I don't know if you noticed in the top of your screen, Brad Hopp getting in line with that.
Don't spectate, participate. Always somewhere to go. That's a play by Hopp. You know, 98 times out of 100, you're not going to be involved. And then there's the 1 or 2 times all of a sudden the ball's down the right field line. And the fact that you're already there, maybe you save an extra base from occurring with one of the guys that's already out there. 1 strike on Felipe Lopez, 0 for 2 and a walk. This guy's tough to pitch to, George. He's gotten better as an offensive player, and he uses the whole ballpark.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he doesn't try to pull the outside pitch like he used to and roll over it. He'll go with the pitch. It's made himself a very good hitter.
Outside again, 2-1. By the way, Detroit beat Minnesota tonight 7-2. So the Tigers now have a 3-game lead in the Central.
That's the way baseball should be. It should be the last week. It should be the excitement of different divisions and who's going to get in and who's not going to get in. And how tough a battle it is. Battle tested sometimes before you get there. Not like the New York Yankees, who have ran off with their division. 10.5 game lead and 102 wins. Did they win tonight? We're looking across the board. They got beat tonight by the Kansas City Royals 4-3.
Jody Garrett is on deck. Rockies up a run. Top of 6, 3-1 to Lopez, ball 4. And Bob Apodaca, as soon as that pitch was thrown, was out onto the field. And he's coming to the mound.
But let's take a look at this, folks, and let you know about some special deals going on in season ticket deposit. If you don't already have season tickets, the best way to guarantee your postseason ticket, make a 2010 season ticket deposit. Yeah, that's right. All you have to do is pick up the phone, 303 Rockies, or go online to ColoradoRockies.com and find out more about this great offer. There. Well, Joe Beimel's one of the 2 guys down in the bullpen that has the ability, after about 7-8 pitches, to get loose. Matt Daly is the other. So Beimel's getting loose. Jody Garrett at the plate. Contreras has worked into a bases-loaded situation. Jim Tracy checking down into the bullpen to see if he is ready or not ready. 3 for 6 on the season for Jody Garrett with the bases loaded.
On the outside corner at 94. That's how he started out, Lopez, and then wasn't able to finish his next few pitches, all out of the strike zone. Milwaukee left 1 on the second, 2 in the third, scored a couple in the fourth, left 1 on last inning. 0-2.
Hard split finger down in the dirt. So you're going to watch that ball come right out of the hand, shot about thigh high, and Jody Garrett overmatched on that pitch. That ball hit well out in front of the plate.
And we've described it before, George, and you've done a good job describing it. It's more of a forkball because it doesn't really have rotation. It looks like a knuckleball almost and drops.
Well, it's because of the finger pressure on the baseball. The harder you squeeze it, the more a knuckle has a chance to happen.
He went on another splitter.
And Contreras leaves them loaded in the 6th inning. Rockies hanging on, 5-4 they lead. Time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Well, twice tonight, Jason Hamill, after falling behind the dangerous Prince fielder, struck him out with curveballs. In critical moments in the game, keep in mind earlier, fielder had hit a ball over the center field wall, his 44th jack of the season. That was the Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Cam. Jose Contreras living dangerously in the top of the 6th. Able to get ahead of and ultimately strike out Jody Garrett on a split finger. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. Yorvit Torrealba, Ian Stewart, Clint Barmes with George Frazier and Alana Rizzo. I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies scored a run in the 1st, a run in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd to take a 5-2 lead. Milwaukee's tightened it up since. Torrealba again has been one of the hitting stars. A double and a run scored in the 2nd and a clutch 2-out line single to center to drive in the Rockies' 5th run in the 3rd. Jeff Suppan is still out there. And a slow hook in there for a strike.
Well, really, this is his type of ball game. I mean, he will pitch and give up 4 or 5 runs, and he'll take you into the 7th inning, just kind of nibble back and forth. The one-loss record doesn't always equal what he does or accomplish as a pitcher on the mound.
Well, for me,
don't forget, he's won 135 games at the big league level.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, George. For me, he has been the quintessential, number 4 starter in his career.
Well, he's played on some pretty good teams, which allowed him to obviously put up some numbers. They scored runs for him. And I think that's, when you look back at a guy's career and you start to think about it, I mean, 135 wins is a lot of wins at the big league level, folks. He's pitched in 4 division series, 4 league championship series, 2 World Series.
On the ground is short. Escobar zips it to first, and Torrealba's retired. Alana Rizzo has more field level. Alana?
All right, thanks, Drew, very much. A 5-4 ball game here is exactly like what the Rockies have been dealing with really for the past 2.5 to 3 weeks. Nothing has really come easy for this team. We've talked about the cardiac kids in the bottom of the 9th inning, extra innings, every hero coming up and making something happen for the Rockies. And there's no other way that Jim Tracy, their manager, would like it. When asked earlier today at his pregame press conference, he said, this is preparation for the postseason. This is a good test for us, that we know that we can come from behind in ball games. We know we can win the 1-run ball game. He said, if we blow teams out 9-2, 10-1, 8-3, we're not necessarily sure of what a test it is for us when we get into the postseason. Hey, if they can win, he'll take every 1-run ball game they can give him, guys.
That's spoke to right field. Base hit for Stewart. Well, Alana, you're right. It's nice to be able to know you can win the tight ones. It's also nice every once in a while to throw out an 11-0.
Well, at times, yeah, it's true. I mean, you do like to have a laugh or occasionally like that to kind of just help you through the week. But and I go back when he starts talking about 1-run games and teams being tough and figuring out ways to win. I know where he's going with that, because when he managed the Pittsburgh Pirates, he lost 95 one-run games. 95. That's either lack of bullpen, lack of late hits, big hits in games. But I think it makes you, as a tough team, and kind of that never die type attitude as a ball club when you win that many one-run games and position yourself.
Garrett Atkins has come out on deck for Contreras, with Barmas at the plate hitting out of the 8-hole. Down the line, that's a good pickup by McGee. He's not going to have a play though. But McGee saved that ball from going into the left field corner and being a double, and who knows, Stewart may have even been able to score on that. Instead, it's first and second with Atkins coming up.
Well, what a nice play. Just kind of a spin move. As you get deeper into the game, you start to crowd the line a little bit. It depends on the pitch. Who's hitting at the plate? Are they a pull hitter? Now, they fed him off speed. If it is, that's when you start to cheat over as the game progresses, gets into the 6th, 7th inning.
Garrett Atkins had a couple of at-bats yesterday. He got a start against Chris Narveson, the left-hander. Time for tonight's Quest high-speed pitch. Suppan not a particularly hard thrower. He's at 89. Hamill can run it in the mid-90s. He's at 94 tonight. He's out of the ball game now. It's brought to you by Quest high-speed internet. Hamill's on the plus side. Suppan is not. First pitch in there for a strike on Atkins. Four for 14 against Suppan with a home run. Ball and a strike. See if he can build a little bit, George, on. I know he didn't have a hit last night, but at least a couple of at-bats as opposed to BP and working the cage.
There's no question. Anytime you come in and face live guys, and even one at-bat, 2 at-bats that you get, and try to work your way into this, because I can tell you right now that
this ball hard to third. McGee drops it to Lopez, safe there. Fielder tried to do the old Keith Hernandez. Helton's good at it, kind of run off the bag as if, ball was there. Good call by the first base umpire, Jim Joyce. So it's first and third, 2 outs that'll allow Gonzalez to hit.
Well, you got to catch it cleanly. He didn't catch it cleanly. The ball was hit hard. Didn't look like he got down on it. And then Lopez tried to turn the heat on it and get it over to first base. Credit a little bit of Clint Barmas, too, coming into second base. He made him readjust his feet, which didn't allow him to get to the back foot to try to throw the baseball.
Gonzalez, a triple, and a couple of ground outs. You know what I'm thinking, George? Is he going to uncork another wild pitch?
Well, he's had 11. That's third in the league right now. You wouldn't think so. He's trying to be very protective of that breaking ball. Trying to keep it to the inner half of the plate. Here's the hook right here. You see a tumbling action on the baseball, yet well out in front. Kendall shifts over. Now that time he got the hand outside, so the ball ricocheted off the hands of the chest protector versus getting by him. Trying to get him to roll over on a ball to second base.
Look at that. Here comes the runner, and safe at the plate. Another wild pitch, 6-4 Colorado. Kendall's had a long night. He has had to try to block in an inordinate number of pitches tonight.
Well, he has, but I think the one thing you got to do as a catcher, obviously, because he gets wide, see how wide his legs are here. The shift that he has to go out to get to the baseball, he really can't. I mean, the ball just drops straight down because of the wideness of his legs. It really makes it a difficult deal. But when you throw pitches that far out in front of home plate, I think, again, I don't care who's catching. It's your first priority. Don't let it get by me. Well, when it ricochets off your chest protector, your arms, everything else.
This ball jumped high and deep right field. Walked on. Two-run home run, Gonzalez. And now the man, was that ever hit?
Well, I guess the wild pitch really doesn't mean anything now, because Gonzalez with his 13th home run, ball down in the middle of the plate, went there once too often, the target away from where Kendall wanted it, and then the ball being thrown.
That was hammered. Wild pitch, big swing, and just like that, 3 put up on the board. This will get Milwaukee to the dugout, but the Rockies strike again. Base running, little help from Suppan, and then number 5 hits one deep into the seats. 8-4 Colorado. With the AT Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Carlos Gonzalez, what an impact he has had on this ball club. Triple tonight, 2-run home run, 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, 2 driven in. 13 home runs, 29 RBIs, runs well, he plays great defense, hitting in the mid-280s. Juan Rincon takes over here in the top of the 7th inning. Ryan Braun at the plate takes a slider for a strike. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800-COMCAST.
Well, there will be some history with Rincon and the Milwaukee Brewers, and the only reason behind that is the interleague play of the Minnesota Twins, where he has played a majority of his major league career. Talking about Rincon.
We always talk about the little things. It's one of the reasons there's so many people in baseball that like the Rockies' chances in the postseason. This is another base hit for Braun off the top of the glove, it looked like, of Clint Barnes. Well, the base hit now, Rincon is going to be replaced as with fielder coming up. Jim Tracy wants a left-hander, but George, Ken Maka was saying the Rockies play the game right. We hear that all the time from people that see the Rockies and appreciate how they play. Well, not to take a shot at Milwaukee, they had a double play ball that wasn't turned. They have a wild pitch, and then they get a 2-run bomb. So instead of maybe being out of the inning, they don't get out of it, and the Rockies end up with a 3 spot, now a 4-run lead. Bible's coming on. We'll be back. 8-4 Rockies. Off the 16th Street Mall, just a couple of blocks, you'll find Coors Field. Joe Beimel is on for the Rockies. They're up 8-4. Leadoff man Ryan Braun, a single. Prince Fielder is at the plate. He has not had, George, much success against Joe Beimel.
He's 0 for 7, and then Adrian Gonzalez also had a guy that had much difficulty, 2 for 21. So 2 of the best left-hitting first basemen in the game. Beimel has handled it.
This call to the bullpen brought to you by Comcast. Call 1-800-COMCAST. Two more hits tonight for Braun. He's now 4 hits shy at 200. To get 200 hits in a season, you have to play every day and be really good. Hard to come by 200 knocks. Good pitch, 1-1. Fielder hit his 44th home run in the 2nd inning. And then Hamill struck him out twice on curveballs.
That slight move to first has tied him up there. Hey, the Rockies would like to thank the fans for their support with Fan Appreciation Day on October the 1st. All the fans that come to the ballgame will be entered into a drawing for the Rockies merchandise, autograph items. Winners will be chosen randomly from their seat locations. Purchase tickets to that ballgame tomorrow against the Brewers. Ticket outlets are ColoradoRockies.com. Hopefully, you'll be coming to a celebration tomorrow.
1-2 on Prince. 2-2. Nope. 3-2. Fielder's hit a solid 282 left on left this year with 13 home runs, so he hangs in there real well. And a base hit up the middle.
First hit he's gotten off Weimel in his career, 1 for Aikman.
And 2 on, nobody out for Casey McGee, who was robbed of at least a double his last time up on a wonderful play, the defensive play of the game by Seth Smith. And Jim Tracy just matching up. Rincon couldn't get his guy. Fielder got the better of Weimel for the first time. And now the Rockies will go to a right-hander, Matt Daly. That's Bob Uecker. I don't know if you know this, George. Very quotable, very funny man. One of the many things he said that people remember, career highlights. I had 2. I got an intentional walk from Sandy Koufax, and I got out of a run down against the New York Mets. Those were the top 2 for you.
Well, we were talking a little bit the other day, too. We were about Bob Uecker and I were. Have been friends for a long time. Former Cardinal said, yep, I'm such a good hitter. Bob Gibson pinch hit for me. Gibby was a lot better hitter than he was. Did pinch hit for him. All right, Matt Daly comes in. Runners first and second. Nobody out. He's going to get the youngster McGee at the plate. He's singled. His first at bat on a line drive, so he can induce a double play here.
This Milwaukee offense can put so much pressure on you. McGee, a single, a pop out, and that rope to deep left that Smith made the fabulous grab on, ultimately the double play. Slider, and he missed it by 6 inches. This call to the bullpen, you've heard this before, brought to you by Comcast, our friends at Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800-COMCAST.
And again, Matt Daly stepped off because it changes pitch to pitch. Who would be on the receiving end of a double play ball hit right back to him? You want to double check that, and it's still Clint Barnes.
Righty's hitting just 186 against Daly. A conversation with Jim Tracy late last night after the game. He was praising Houston Street, his ability to repeat his delivery, and also Matt Daly. George, that's something you can appreciate.
Well, let me tell you what. You don't get to across the bridge unless you got Matt Daly. And that's what I was for the majority of my career, and that's the bridge over to your closer. And if you don't have those guys and the ability to do that, then you know what? You're not going to win a lot of ball games. Franklin Morales hadn't pitched for a while. He's starting to warm up down in the bullpen for the Rockies.
Oh, boy. That's a late, that's a tough deal for an umpire. You hear time verbalized, and you have to make a decision. Is the pitcher ready to come home with it?
Thing is, you see, watch as Daly starts to pick his leg up, and then he calls timeout. And that's a late timeout call by Darrell Cousins behind the plate. See Torrealba not giving signs with his fingers, but locations on his body. And where he wants pitches to go, 89, good location, a lot of sail and movement to it. Started on the outer half of the plate, and then it rides up into the strike zone.
He's one guy, George, I don't care what the gun says, add 5 miles an hour.
Well, the ball's sneaky when it comes out. I mean, you can't add 5, but it appears 5 as a hitter. I mean, it's 89. See Torrealba touching. Mash, shin guards, left shoulder. Then he goes through the signs on the bottom side of it. Those are signs because Daly got it. Yep, loaded up into the zone. Torrealba shifted in, shifted out, asked for the pitch up into the strike zone. He threw a bind.
Honestly, right on right, does that not look like 97, 98 the swings?
Well, it just comes at you so quickly, and it has the movement, the angle, the hiding of the baseball because the way he squats down on the delivery, and then it's a very short arm to the plate. A short, fast arm was to me, is much more deceiving than a long arm with velocity.
That's a big strikeout. McGee hitting close to 400 runners in scoring position. Here's Mike Cameron. He hit a home run back in the 4th. Last 5 hits for Mike Cameron, home runs. And it got us to thinking, well, what's the record for consecutive hits that were all home runs? Doug Marino did a little research the last couple innings. You may be shocked when you hear the answer. Stayed off the slider, 2-0. The record, George, you have any guess on this?
No.
11. 11 straight hits, not 11 in a row, obviously, but over a period of time, all of this player's hits.
Is this going to be a guy I know, or is this somebody
guy you know?
1918?
No, 2001.
Wow.
A fellow by the name of Mark Mcgwire. 11 straight hits were all home runs, July 18th to August 12th. He hit a $185 during that stretch, but they're all bombs. I have no idea what he hit. 2-0. It's 3-0 on Cameron. Daly could come all the way back. 1 out, 2 on. Rockies up 8-4. Top of 7. Swinging 3-0. Shallow center field. Tough play. Smith didn't get a good read on it. The bases are loaded. I don't know if he could have gotten there anyhow. That was kind of no man's land.
Second straight inning that the Milwaukee Brewers have had the ability to get the bases loaded and hadn't particularly hit the ball hard. This ball fisted out of the reach of Tulowitzki in center field, and it kind of got batted around a little bit. That allowed everybody to move up and get in that position. Now you got the youngster at the plate, Escobar. The problem you have with him, you got to deal with his speed up the line.
He's got to get into play first against Daly. Slider for a strike.
Now the pitch coming across the plate. Obviously, see Torrealba's extension of the elbow out to receive the ball. That's what kept it in the strike zone. If he waits for it to come back to him, he'll be called a ball.
Strike 2.
Remember back when this youngster came up in his first at bat, a lot of breaking balls from Hamill. He couldn't touch it. Now that's a backup slider. It didn't make the move at all left, but because of where it was, it just locked up the youngster and he couldn't do anything with it.
He didn't like that slider, George.
Well,
3 sliders, see you later. 2 outs.
Ugly swings on it from Jason Hamill. Ugly swings here from Matt Daly. When you look at this last pitch, is going to be out here and his bat's here. I mean, you're talking about missing it for quite a ways right out of the hand. And watch Torrealba do a nice job of dropping down and smothering the baseball as that chest and shoulders came forward to keep the ball in front of him, not let it get off to the side.
Now a little meeting on how to deal with Jason Kendall. While we have a quick moment, George, we were kidding about Mcgwire. He hits 11 home runs, 11 hits. What did I say? He hit 185. Doug looked that up. He hit 180. Wasn't that hot? 11 home runs, 19 RBIs, 11 for 61 during that stretch. All bombs.
Former teammate Jason Giambi, he's hit a lot of long balls. What's he got now? 408?
09. More to come. Kendall swung on and missed. You know what, George? Let me correct that. I said 09. You're right. It's 08. 408.
Kendall seems like he's been around an awful long time. He has, but he's only 34 years old. Got a lot of games in.
5th all time behind the plate in terms of starts. Actually 10th in starts, 5th in games appeared in behind the plate for Kendall. On the ground, foul. Daly pitched a clean inning in last night's ball game. He handled the 7th in the Rockies' 7-5 win. Here's the 1-2, fouled off. Tough guy to punch out. Always has been.
Wide stance, chokes up 2 inches.
And this is dumped into right field for a base hit. 1 runner scored. Fielder stops at 3rd. So Jason Kendall makes it 8-5. Matt Gamble will pinch hit for Jeff Suppan.
Yeah, in a year, 3 for 18 with a couple of RBIs. And again, this ball you mentioned, tough to strike out. It's exactly what it is. That ball, though, again, up a little bit in the strike zone. And instead of pulling the ball this time, he punched it out to right. The strength of Pop's arm shut that down. Franklin Morales going to get the call coming out of the bullpen as Jim Tracy heads out to the mound to get Mr. Daly.
8-5 Rockies, back right after this. 5. Milwaukee has produced 13 hits tonight. Franklin Morales will be asked to get the final out of the 7th inning after Matt Daly got the last 2, or the first 2.
Franklin Morales, the first batter faced, obviously that can be a concern for you. Only 57% of the time has he been able to retire first batters faced. But the one thing he can do, he can dominate left-handers. 162 against Franklin, with 1 home run given up.
He's the 4th pitcher utilized here in the 7th inning. Unusual, especially when you consider, George, that the Rockies entered the inning up 8-4.
He's inherited 24 base runners, and only 8 have scored on the season.
Bourgeois is the pinch hitter now. Gamel's been burned. So Jason Bourgeois, the R is silent. And with Morales, Georgia late, there's a hard slider that missed. You want to see him throw strike 1. That's always a good idea, but he's battled command issues. Last time we saw him, he walked in a run.
Guys on base. It's been a difficult task for him to get through it, but the Rockies with a 3-run lead needs to do it here.
And this is dumped into right field. It is a foul ball, not by much. Jim Joyce got down the right field line enough to eyeball it.
See if Cedar says something to him. I mean, they are coming out of the dugout as far as Mock is concerned. Jim Joyce walked down the line and followed the track of this baseball. Was it or was it not?
Wow,
I'd like to see it again.
Yeah,
I mean, here you go.
That replay, I thought it was fair.
Yeah, but look at Jim Joyce. He's right on it. It is a foul ball. You look at where he was on that eyesight. That ball was fouled by an inch. I tell you what, Jim Joyce did it the right way. He got right on the line and looked for the fly to the baseball.
By less than the width of his mustache. 1-1. Bourgeois, this ball right center field. Hop cutting over, makes the catch. Boy, the Rockies living dangerously tonight. Wipe your brow. 8-5 Colorado, stretch time at 20th and Blake. Rockies leading the Brewers 8-5. The Brewers have left 6 on in the last 2 innings. The Rockies have teamed up with FSN Rocky Mountain for Wins for Kids. Proceeds benefit the Children's Hospital and Prader-Willi Syndrome Association. Donate today. You can do it at ColoradoRockies.com.
All right, let's get your sign up. Let me see. What do you have here? I love Alana Rizzo. We love Alana Rizzo. Sorry, buddy. Alana's married. You like that
I still
one?
appreciate the love.
Absolutely.
That's nice. Thank you. I love you too. That's very nice.
Do you know what? We had a big banner up here, Alana. George and I had painted it. Doug Marino helped out. Sam Reniason up in the booth.
What does it say?
It was like 10 feet long and 8 feet high. It said, "We love Alana Rizzo." It's very similar to that
I'm
guy.
Sure, you spent all afternoon doing it.
The last 6 days.
Yeah.
6 afternoons.
Yeah,
But the problem was the big gust of wind.
Right, just like blew it away.
It blew it out.
That's okay. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, well, we're going to have to create
one.
another one.
I just gotta go. That's all. That's probably my husband wondering what the heck.
Yeah. You were on, buddy. You were on. 1-0 on Helton. That's in there for a strike. Chris Smith is the new pitcher. In relief of Jeff Suppan. Bottom of 7. Rockies up 8-5. Drew Goodman along with George Frazier and Alana Rizzo. Loved by all. Helton tonight, a 2-run bomb back in the 3rd inning. His 15th of the year. He's got 86 ribbies. Two and two. Here's the big fly.
And the 3rd inning, Todd Helton got a fastball up in the strike zone and just made it disappear into right field. 86 RBIs now for Mr. Helton.
You know, I'm looking at Suppan's line, George. He ends up giving up 8 runs on 10 hits. Helton walks. And that'll bring up Tulowitzki, who's 1 for 2 and a walk.
Helton on his way to his 11th season of 300 or better.
Right now at 323, he's 4th in the league in hitting. Once again, Atlanta lost at home tonight 5-4 to Florida.
Yeah, you know, one other score up right now, the San Diego Padres beating the Los Angeles Dodgers now 5-0. If they lose and the Rockies go on to win this game, it's 2.5.
The Dodgers are off tomorrow. The Rockies hang on. We'll do the math along with you at home, and they were able to win tomorrow afternoon. They could head to LA down 2 ball games. Which means the only way, folks, the only way is they have to sweep because...
Well, you got a pretty good opportunity because you got Ubaldo, De La Rosa, and Marquis pitching Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Los Angeles. Yep. You're going out there. I mean, Aaron Cook will pitch tomorrow for the Rockies.
This ball is belted to left field. This one is deep into the right. 2-run shot for Tulowitzki. Make it 10-5. His 31st of the year.
You give up 1 and you put 2 back on the board. This is one thing this offense has done this entire game, is to come back right after the Milwaukee Brewers have scored. They scored 2 in the 2nd. The Rockies threw 3 on the board in the 3rd. And again here, and it's the last 2 innings, they put 5 runs up to make it a 10-5 ball game.
Well, some of the Braves were still hanging out in the clubhouse watching this one. I think many of them have decided to file out.
Good fastball. 0-2 on Brad Hopp. Inside. George, I'm going to bring something to your attention. And this is how wild this final week is and how wonderful baseball is. The marathon that it is. But think about this for a moment. Let's say the Rockies were to win out. The Dodgers don't win again. And the Rockies capture the division. And St. Louis and Philadelphia win a game, maybe two, the rest of the way. Do you know who the 1 seed is in the National League?
Colorado Rockies.
The Colorado Rockies.
Come back
and missed.
You come back and win the West, somebody's coming here.
Not impossible. First things first, you want to secure a playoff spot. Aaron Cook talking before the ball game about his teammates.
We got plenty of guys that step up every night, and that's the one thing about this team. It's somebody different. We rely on each other. It's not just on one person. So we go out every day realizing that somebody's going to help us win the game, and somebody always comes through.
Well, it is the true definition of team. And this ball is going to get down and drop in front of Ryan Braun. Guess who's got a 3-hit night?
Yep, again. Toriyama, lifetime 259 hitter. Now he's averaged nearly 290.
Keeps doing this, going to have a shot to hit 300. Ian Stewart with 1 out and 1 on. Another little note on Mr. Tulowitzki. The 24-year-old has 7 more home runs than any other shortstop in baseball.
Think of the double play combination we're talking about with the Rockies, and between he and Clint Barnes.
There's a rifle shot to right. Stewart's got another knock. The Rockies with 13 hits tonight. And here comes Barmes, who you were just alluding to.
54 home runs between the double play combination. That matches up pretty good with anybody in baseball.
Well, look at it this way. Look at it this way, George. Tonight, the 7 and 8 hole hitters for the Rockies. Stewart 25 home runs, Barmes 23 home runs, 48 home runs, 146 RBIs. That's an American League lineup.
Yep, down the bottom of the lineup. There's not anybody with 115, 120, but there's a bunch with 70 and 80 RBIs. Tulowitzki the nearest to 90 with 89.
Barmes a base hit his last time. Oh and 1 on Clint. Jason Kendall's going to need forearm pads tonight.
By the way, 11 300 seasons. The most 23 times Ty Cobb. He was pretty good.
The big man's on deck.
Oh yeah.
Inside, 2 and 1. That levels the count at 2 and 2. You're talking about the Padres, George, and we had several occasions to talk about how well they've played the last, we were saying, well, the last 4 weeks, then it was the last 5 weeks. Well, now it's like 7 weeks. They've played dynamite baseball. Strike 3. 2 outs. 2 on for Jason Giambi. Quickly we check in with Alana Rizzo. Alana?
Thanks very much. You guys talking about how this lineup is like an American League lineup. Well, that guy knows a little bit about the American League. I said, so how are you liking the National League? He said, I absolutely love it. I loved interleague play for that reason, because you get to play in different parks, play by different rules. Now that I'm in it on a day-to-day basis, I have so much more of an appreciation for it. The 2 or 3 moves you need to be ahead, it's much more methodic. He likes it, and the fans love him here, guys.
He has been, as everybody knows, just terrific. 2 on for Giambi. And this ball, he gets under just a smidgen. In right field, Jody Garrett battling the win. Giambi got it on the barrel, just got under it a little bit. You can tell by his reaction. Rockies get 2 more on the 2-run shot by Tulowitzki, 10-5. (10-5) Colorado, top of inning number 8. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800 Comcast. Rafael Betancourt
coming in to pitch the 8th inning. Jim Tracy had to use a lot to get from the 6th inning to this inning. He used Contreras, Rincon, Beimel, Daly, and Morales got a big out. And now here comes Betancourt with a 5-run lead. Going to come in and try to end the things here in the 8th inning. A lot of strikeouts per 9 innings, 10.2. Hits, not many. Walks, just a little over 1 walk by Betancourt. Well, you got a lot of wind going on in downtown Denver, and you got a lot of hot dog wrappers, peanut wrappers flying all over this ballpark. And, you know, there's no way to really cure it. I mean, it's just going to end up being that's the way to do it. Get a big gust of wind, look at them all head to the visitor's dugout. Worked perfect. And right at the right time. Wonderful.
So Betancourt's completed his warm-up pitches. Felipe Lopez, representing the top of the order, will take his turn. Lopez, Garrett, and Braun. 10-5 Colorado. Lopez tonight 0 for 2 and a pair of walks. Pitchers of record, Jason Hamill, and if he gets the W, George, he improves to 10-8. And the Rockies have 5 starters in double-figure wins.
Well, that is a big key too, because I mean that'll be the, you know, again, the 67th win by Rockies starting staff. The closest, or the best year previous to that, 55. That happened a couple other times.
You know, for me, it is a remarkable stat. If The Rockies hang on. Hamill wins. He's now 10-8. And you know what? He didn't pitch his best tonight, obviously, but he's had a number of no decisions lately where he probably should have gotten a win. And the Colorado Rockies, a team for years, people said, man, no pitcher would ever want to go there. The Humidors changed things around, and the quality of the Rockies pitchers have improved dramatically, coupled with the Humidor, and they will become the first team in the National League since 2005 to have 5 starters with at least 10 wins.
His last 11 starts, he's never given up more than 4 runs, and that was in 6 innings against San Francisco. Previous high prior to that was 5 against the Mets in game 1 of a doubleheader.
Yeah, he was really on a nice roll. So up a little bit in the zone tonight. But you know what?
Jim Tracy said. He noticed it from the side that tonight he was up into the strike zone a little bit. He was able to get out of some innings on some hard hit balls. He worked through 5 innings. And sometimes you want a little bit of luck to run with you in that direction, so you can get that opportunity to get a win. 3-1. And the leadoff hitter, Lopez. There's Houston Street. He starts this regiment, folks, typically around the 5th inning, where he'll start stretching and working. You can see some other guys down in the bullpen trying to stay warm.
Three and 2. Last year, 3 teams had 5 starters with 10+ wins. All American League clubs, and it's easier for an American League club to do it. And the reason is they have the DH. So if you're in a tight ball game in the National League, a lot of times you may be pitching effectively, but your manager opts to pull you in favor of the offensive side of things. That's not a concern in the American League, and that's why it's a little bit easier.
That's why you have higher earned run averages over there too.
Yeah, true.
Guys will work 6, 7 innings. He'll give up 5 runs. By the way, Betancourt in September has been very good. 3-0, 174 earned run average, a save. He has 4 holes, 6 hits in 10 and a third innings for Mr. Betancourt.
How about Washington? Couldn't win a lick against Atlanta. They sweep the Mets. They had a walk-off grand slam tonight. Three and 2 again on Lopez. Ball 4.
And I'm looking very quickly through the book, but the last 1, 2, 3 innings this Rocky staff had was in the first. A ground ball and a couple of punch outs. There's been traffic every time on a base path. Well, if you'd like to take a tour of this ballpark, it's pretty cool because you get to go down and visit the dugout, visitors clubhouse, press box. Guided tours are available Monday through Saturday for both groups and individuals. For tickets, call 303 Rockies.
Garrett. I remember saying that the game time temperature for first pitch was 70. It's not 70 anymore. Off the plate, 1-1. Ready for winter?
I think so. Somebody read the report. A lot of people saw that the high winds, the cold front would be coming in tomorrow. And they dressed appropriately.
This ball is pulled into the seats foul. 1-2 on Jody Garrett. A little bit more on the starters winning 10 or more games. Last time 5 starters did it in the National League, 2 teams, St. Louis and Houston, in 05. And both of those teams were postseason teams. In fact, they met in the NLCS. Houston went on to win, moved on to the World Series, and that's where Jose Contreras and the White Sox were so tough, and they swept them. When Ozzie Guillen, George, was the de facto mayor of Chicago.
Let's take a look at the Rockies starting pitchers and what we've been talking about so far. De La Rosa 16-9, Jason Marquis at 15-12, Ubaldo Jimenez 14-12, 10-6, and then Mr. Hamill hoping to pick up his 10th win tonight. That's pretty special, folks.
You had De La Rosa back in April, George, leading the team in victories, did you?
Well, just like a lot of people around baseball, and like they said, they wanted to say after last year and the success he had, I told you so. But he couldn't find the strike zone, not have the ability to do it. But I think the difference. Sliding catch, able to pick it right off the end of the bat from Jody Garrett. First out here in the 8th inning. A lot of people knew, and if you look back at De La Rosa, the thing that jumps out at you, yeah, okay, 1-6, 1-5, whatever it was. But how many games did he pitch that he gave up 2 runs in 6 innings, 7 innings and 2 runs, 3 runs? That he'd end up getting a loss in a ball game or a no decision. He pitched very, very well in a lot of ball games that he didn't get anything for. And then, of course, the glaringness that comes out whenever you look and see that he gives up 4 or 5 runs and he loses a ball game.
Did pitch in some hard luck early in the season. Ryan Braun, a couple of singles, also plunked by a pitch. He's right behind Helton in the National League in hitting. Todd's number 4 in the league. Braun's got the average at .319. Lopez at first. Braun, a product of the University of Miami, even though he's a Southern California kid. Used to work out in the offseason with Alex Rodriguez, who gave him a lot of advice when he was moving from, at the time, shortstop to third base. And then eventually, after a very difficult year in the big leagues at third base, they moved him to left field, and that's his home now. Swung on a miss, 0-2. He, along with Albert Pujols, are the only 2 players in the history of the game to hit more than 30 home runs in each of their first 3 seasons. Albert has now done it each of his first 9 seasons. Braun and Tulowitzki battled for Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, with Braun edging Tulowitzki. And they have both had tremendous junior years in the big leagues. 0-2 on Ryan Braun.
Well, the money came off the books for Jeff Jenkins when he became a free agent. It opened up and gave him the opportunity to sign Braun, and he did that through 2015. A lot of people didn't think it was a good contract for other people in baseball. Thought it discounted, just like the Tulowitzki is going to turn into a great a deal for the Rockies, and for Tulowitzki too. It's a lot of money.
Ooh, I'll tell you what, Darryl Cousins flinched.
He's mumbling something to Braun too. I mean, that's a pretty good pitch right here. I mean, it is low. Torriello pulled it up. It's a low pitch. It's below the shin.
That young lady behind home plate, George, thought it was a strike. Three and 2. One out, runner at first. Again, the only 1-2-3 inning for the Rockies out in the field, the first inning.
Well, really, the only thing that's bothering you about this inning is the amount of pitches it's taken Betancourt to try to get through it. This is his 19th pitch coming up. After the walk, a lot of foul balls, 3-2 count here. You worry about tomorrow's pitch count. It's a short turnaround tomorrow. A day game after the night game.
Got it. Betancourt strikes out Braun for the second out in the 8th inning.
After numerous sliders down and away, then he tries to attack up. Got the ball by him at 94 miles an hour in the Hyundai cam. And you can see where Torrealba is. He wants the ball down here. But the ball rode up and it rode above the hands.
How about this crowd tonight? Wednesday night, 41,465.
Great crowd.
At Coors Field. And they had to battle the wind this evening, and the fact that the temperatures dropped probably 20 degrees. Here's Prince Fielder with a shift on outside ball 1. Prince a home run, 2 strikeouts with traffic on base, and then a single in the 7th inning. Sure, for Prince, it would be a nice feather in his cap on a personal note, George, to hit 300. He's at 297.
And obviously, even though a very good athlete, he's not going to get a lot of leg hits. He runs better than average. He's got 2 stolen bases. Dougie, this is a great stat what you just gave me, you old hippie. 80-1 this ball club when leading after the 8th inning. 43-0 at Coors Field. That is impressive.
That is impressive. 1-1. Runner takes off for second. This ball is hit high and deep to left field, but playable against the wind. Smith makes the catch, and Betancourt works his way through the 8th inning. 10-5 Colorado, top of the order in the bottom of the 8th. Rockies have poured it on offensively tonight, and they've hit the long ball this evening. Todd Helton, a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning. Carlos Gonzalez, a 2-run home run in the 6th inning. And Troy Tulowitzki, a 2-run home run in the 7th inning. John Axford making his fifth appearance.
Like a lot of young kids, you can see this making the fifth appearance. 4 walks, 4 strikeouts in 3 2/3 innings. Another one of the young arms coming out of their organization. Doug Melvin's taking a look at in September.
Well, you can tell right away he's got a plus arm. 94
yes, he does.
On that fastball. Gonzalez a triple in the first, 2-run home run in the sixth, 2 for 4. Lopez gets Gonzalez 1 out, and that'll bring up Seth Smith. Well, Smith singled to drive in a run in the first. He was hit by a pitch in the third and scored. 1 for 3 tonight.
.95. That's some pretty good cheese there, right over the top. Pretty good position with the baseball.
Well, George.
Yep.
Today was a good day
Let's
for
eat.
tacos. Tomorrow is a good day for tacos. Go to Taco Bell. The Rockies have scored 7 runs. Go between 4 and 6 tomorrow. Get 4 tacos for $1. Breaking ball misses. 2 and 2. Still 5-0, 6th inning. The Padres shutting out the Dodgers. 3 and 2.
Well, there's been so much emphasis put on the fact of the Rockies getting in on the wild card and being able to maintain their lead that there's that outside chance that, guess what, they may win the West.
Dodgers, George, tonight. This is a good offense, we all know. Leading the league in batting average, swung on and missed. Smith has got 2 outs. They're getting 1 hit this evening by Clayton Richard, that left-hander that you like a lot.
I like him a lot. 92 to 94 mile an hour fastball, good change slider.
Jimmy John's delivery of the ball game, 3rd inning. Todd Helton against Jeff Suppan. High fastball. See you later. Into the seats in right. 2nd career home run for Helton against Suppan. He gets a good hard curveball for strike 1 from Axford. Todd down the line, and that's a foul ball.
I've had a couple of close calls, one down the right field line for Bourgeois. This one is going to go. Wow.
I can't tell.
Can't either. Bill Miller says foul ball.
Hitters always have the best idea, and Todd kind of hung around the box for a while thinking it was going to slice foul. It was really close. 0-2. That's a great example of George Todd's ability to identify pitches early. Now, that's a pretty good pitch.
Great hitters do that. They can see a lot of wide on the ball. There's bound. Bilal coming in with a 5-run lead. They recognize by the grip of the baseball, the turn of the wrist, so many different things they look for. They recognize, and then the ability to adjust to the break of the baseball. That's always amazed me about Todd and great hitters that have that ability to do that.
Hits this ball well to left field. Braun will run back and make the catch. So Axford has a 1-2-3 eighth inning. We'll go to the ninth. The Rockies +5, looking for 3 more outs. Rockies leading the Brewers 10-5 with a win. Their magic number would be 1, and they would clinch at least a tie with a victory. For more on what will come after the ball game, here is Tom Hellman.
Well, Drew, after the game, we'll talk about the power of 1. It looks like the magic number will be 1 as they go into play tomorrow. We'll also talk about running wild, some great base running by the Rockies tonight, and deep dish, and they flex their muscles too with some home runs. We'll break it all down right after the ball game. Crowd already getting started out here, Drew, so we're getting set for a big post-game show.
They're getting ready to greet you, Tom.
We're ready. We're ready. There should be at least double this after the game.
And I thought Letterman was popular late at night.
I'm making my move, man. I'm making my move.
We're watching you at least.
That's 2.
There you go. All right, Tommy. We'll see you in a little bit, brother.
All right.
Rockies made a couple of changes. Matt Belisle will indeed pitch the 9th inning with the Rockies up by 5 runs. Give Houston Street a day off. And in center field, Dexter Fowler is now positioned. Carlos Gonzalez slides to left. Seth Smith comes out. Casey McGee at the plate. Belisle has been really good. And the first pitch is in the air to Dexter, right center field. It's up in the wind, and Dexter can't get it. That ball carried probably, George, extra 40, 50 feet?
Well, no question it did. That ball just got up into the wind area, and right now the wind gusting to right center field and into that bullpen area at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. And so he got a high fly ball that Dexter thought he was under about 3 different times and found out he ran out of some real estate and couldn't get there.
Well, now, just in case, Houston Street has to get up. I don't think, I honestly, he hit it decent. I don't think he got it on the barrel, George. He's so strong. I think he got it a little bit below the barrel, and it's like a hurricane out there in right center field. 1-0 on camera. Gale force winds blowing out to right center. 16 home runs for McGee. A waiver wire pickup from the Cubs a year ago. 2-0. Cameron hit a home run in the 4th inning.
very good fastball hitter. Lifetime career numbers of 250, hitting 249 right now as he comes to the plate. He's always had the power, that's for sure.
Line drive, Brad Hobb will make the catch, 1 out. Alcides Escobar comes up. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies and may not be reproduced or retransmitted without the written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Escobar 2 for 4 and eats a fly ball. That's going to be a tough play for Hopp. Here, George, the Rockies nailed down these last 2 outs with Belisle. You don't even have the scoreboard watch anymore. You need 1 win, and it doesn't matter what the Braves do.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I think there's a swing and a miss on a slider, and then Torrealba's going to be able to tag the youngster. Been able to just strike him out tonight. This hard slider down and away, a big bend on it, reached out on that front leg and couldn't do anything with it.
Jason Kendall tied the ball game in the 9th inning last night. Can't do that here. Knocked down 4 with nobody on base. 0-1. Kendall's had another good ball game though. Drove in 4 yesterday. He's driven in 2 tonight. 3 for 4.
Had a little rough night behind the plate with a lot of bounced balls in the dirt. That's the only thing that's got him. This should end it right here with Dexter in center. That's the win. Take this thing.
Yep, Dexter's got it, and the Rockies have won their 90th ball game of the year. That ties a club record with 4 to go. They have guaranteed themselves at least a tie for the wild card. Their magic number now just 1. The Rockies